I'm John Ryder, the co-founder of ESPN. Bill Rasmussen has passed away at 93 years old. He launched ESPN in 1979 as the world's first 24-hour TV network. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell told a German media outlet that the league will eventually have a team permanently based outside the United States. Some think it will be a down season for the Buccaneers, but quarterback Baker Mayfield thinks otherwise.
You get your guys, and it's just the Bucs against everybody else in that city you're going to. And so I think it's a good opportunity for us against the Bengals. And, I think we're going to shock a lot of people this year. And so I'm excited to just get on the road and do that.
Tampa Bay opens the season on Sunday, September 13th at Cincinnati. The Giants signing former Steelers running back Najee Harris to a one-year deal. Jets running back Breece Hall will miss the rest of the preseason with a strained groin. He is expected to be ready for Week 1. College football, North Carolina has named Wisconsin transfer Billy Edwards as their starting quarterback for their opener against TCU in Ireland. That's where it will be played on Saturday, August 29th, and you can watch it on ESPN TV.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Wednesday, we continue to get you ready for the NFL regular season as we go two-a-days with the Bears and the Bills and tell you which team has a better chance to live up to their expectations. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
This.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Hey, Will.
Hey, bud.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Jordyn Kitchens.
Jordyn, 20-footer, head of the key, good!
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Shea Dixon in about 15 minutes. Our buddy Chris Hummer from CBS Sports will be here in a little more than an hour. Tigers will be back on the practice field tonight. Saints joint practices out in L.A. We got a ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
As we were wrapping up the show on Monday, we got the absolutely crapola pile of dog poo news that Jordan Tyson, that hamstring injury is going to cost him about 2 months. Likely he'll miss the first 5 games of his rookie season. Kellen Moore, meeting with reporters, spoke about Tyson's injury.
Yeah, Jordan has a hamstring. Something that we're going to continue to collect some more information just as far as what that timeline looks. He's kind of got caught in a goofy spot. It's not anything related to a previous hamstring. It's just something new, and so they'll collect some more information on that, put together a good action plan for that moving forward, and we'll keep progressing as well as we can.
So that was Thursday after the practice with the Jacksonville Jaguars, where apparently kind of got hit from behind, and Kellen Moore was quick to point out that this is not a sign of things with this checkered injury past from Jordan Tyson.
I think my understanding of this any player that was put in his situation where your foot slips and you get shoved from behind, this has nothing to do with Jordan's history. This is any player in that situation probably has the same diagnosis coming out of this. So yeah, we'll just navigate. They'll collect a bunch of information here and talk to plenty of people, just put together a plan for us, and we'll move forward.
Okay, fair or unfair, it absolutely has to do with his injury history. This is how you get defined as an injury-prone player. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying you have to like it. It's the fact. Dude's knee exploded when he was at Colorado. He goes to Arizona State. He breaks his collarbone. He sprains his ankle. He pulls a hammy. He is an injury-prone player. Period. Now, there's good news. There's been examples throughout the history of football of guys that at one point were labeled injury-prone or had recurring issues that they kicked it. Marshawn Lattimore was one of them. Coming out of Ohio State, there was a lot of concern about his hamstring history, and he kicked it throughout his NFL career. Patrick Peterson, when he played at LSU, remember all the dehydration issues that kept manifesting? He had to have cramps and all that stuff. Pat Pete, played a full, healthy NFL career for more than a decade. So it's possible, and that's the optimist point of view. But it is also impossible to sit here today and do anything other than label Jordyn Tyson an injury-prone player. I hate it for him. I hate it for me. I hate it for the Saints. I hate it for everyone who loves the team and the organization and cheers for him. It sucks. You spent the 8th pick in the draft on a guy that was having an awesome camp, but the one question, go back to what any of us who sat in this chair at this microphone said after the draft, or anybody who said anything about the Saints. Like, talk about, this is Chris Sims. Here's Chris Sims talking about the risk going along with Jordyn Tyson.
Jordyn Tyson, this was the risk with Jordyn Tyson. Jordyn Tyson was the number 1 receiver on everybody's board. Everybody. The only reason he was the number 2 receiver was because of the injury risk.
Okay. Like, it's not, like, this is the conversation we all had around the draft, was the injury history. And here it is. So, it's popped up before he's played a game. So, there's nothing the Saints can do about it. Like, you just have to suck it up, let him get healthy, and when he's available, roll him out there. The thing that's so disappointing is that you're so, like, we came out of last season so optimistic about Tyler Shuck. The thought was, okay, you think you might have hit on your franchise quarterback. Now give him weapons. Go get David Edwards to fortify the line, draft Oscar Delp, pay Travis Etienne Jr., draft Jordyn Tyson, Berrien Brown, Bryce Lance. Give this dude weapons to see if he can actually go be awesome. And you saw Jalen Polk retire, and now Jordyn Tyson's injured, and now, like, everybody's moving up a chair, and we'll see. Kendrick Miller's hurt again. But, like, as I look at the receiver room, it was so exciting to think about Olave and Tyson in tandem. Chris Olave, who 3 of his 4 seasons in the NFL has had a 1,000-yard season, and you put a truly explosive guy opposite him, what that tandem could look like. Now we got to wait to see it. But now when you look at this receiver room, doesn't it kind of feel a lot like it did last year? Like, bear with me, okay? Like, spell this out. If we could have looked at it and said, all right, Olave, Tyson, that's an awesome 1-2. It's why I used the 8th pick on Tyson. Now it's Olave and Devon Vele. And let me tell you something, man. You could be super pumped about Devon Vele if you want to be. And he might be awesome. But here's what I know. In the first 9 games that Devon Vele played last year, he caught 6 passes. Yo, we were clowning that dude every single week. Not just me, everybody. They traded a draft pick to get Devon Vele to bring him in, and he had 6 catches in 9 games. Now, in the final 4 games, he had 19 catches. But the bulk of that came in 1 game against Miami where he had 8 in 1 game. So, like, are we really looking at a 4-game sample size where 8 catches against Miami tells you Devon Vele is going to be awesome? I mean, we haven't seen this over a full season from him. And he's going to be your number 2? Oh, he's not going to be your number 2. It's going to be Berrien Brown. So the rookie out of LSU who never had over 600 receiving yards in 4 college seasons, you're convinced is going to be the guy. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm excited about Berrien Brown. I saw Berrien Brown at practice. He can fly. He's got big playability. In 4 years in college, he never made it happen. But I was really excited about Berrien Brown as your number 4. Like when you had Olave and Jordyn Tyson and Vele and then Berrien Brown, I'm going, that dude's your number 4? Okay. When you're telling me now I need Berrien Brown from jump to be my number 2, I don't like that as much. You can be pumped about Bryce Lance. Oh, he had a couple 1,000-yard seasons at North Dakota State. Great. He was a 1,000-yard receiver in the FCS. Enter Mason Tipton. Look, I get it. He's 6'3", he's athletic, good wingspan, all that stuff. Just missed the first preseason game. But my point is, like, nothing of this is a certainty. I like Bryce Lance as my number 5, but what if you're asking him now to be your number 2 or 3? We've changed the conversation now. Like, I've given you this example for years. It's one my buddy Charles Handlegriff used for forever about baseball. There's a guy named Blake Gill who played at LSU. Early in his career, he was batting 7th and playing second base. Later in his career, he was batting 3rd and playing shortstop. And Handlegriff said, I like I like Blake Gill a lot as my second baseman batting seventh. I don't like him as much as my shortstop batting third. Same thing here. So look, I know there's this feeling like, hey man, well Shuck did it last year, throwing to Kevin Austin and Samare Torre and Ronnie Bell. And you could make that argument, and they went 5-4 with Tyler Shuck as the starting quarterback. You know how many points they scored in those games? Here's the point totals that the Saints scored in those games with Tyler Shuck, the 9 games. 10, 17, 10, 17, 24, 20, 29, 34, 17. By the way, the 29 and the 34 were against the Jets and the Titans. 2 teams that are poo. So you scored 29 against the Jets, 34 against the Titans. There's only one other game where you scored more than 20. And 2 of them where you scored 10, and 3 of them where you scored 17. Like, you can buy Tyler Shuck stock, and I am. I like Tyler Shuck a lot. I think he's going to be really good. But we can't pretend like the 9 games Shuck started last year, the Saints were the greatest show on turf, recreated. Like, the offense was sluggish and sloggy a lot, which is why they went and gave Tyler Shuck weapons. But now those weapons are eroding. And by the way, you start the season on the road at Detroit, and you start the season then week 2, you're on the road at Baltimore. Like, a lot of the good vibes, man, just kind of some of the shine came out. Now, here's the good news. After those first 2 road games where you're going to be an underdog, you come home for 3 games and you should win them all. You're home against the Raiders, Falcons, and Vikings. You should win all 3 of those games. If you don't win those 3 games at home, then we've been wasting a lot of breath hyping this team, yours truly included. And then you're at the Giants, and then you go to Paris to play against Pittsburgh. And that's about the time, either at the Giants or the road game against Pittsburgh, when you should be getting Jordyn Tyson back. You go into that game on the road against the Giants at 3-2. Maybe you lose your road games, you win the 3 at home, you're 3-2. I could feel good about that team hitting that stretch because you have a winnable stretch coming. Browns, Panthers, where you go Giants, Steelers, Browns, Panthers. And then the gauntlet that we've all talked about. At the Bengals, home against the Packers, at Panthers, at Bucks. Like, at Bears, at Bengals, Packers, at Panthers, at Bucks. Like, that's a brutal 5-game stretch. But it sets up for a manageable finish. Cardinals, at Falcons, Bucks. You got to keep your head above water to get to a point where Tyson can impact you in that winnable stretch there with Giants, Steelers, Browns, Panthers before you go into the brutal stretch. Just sucks, man. Really sucks. And they're going to have some guys step up who maybe you weren't expecting to play really key roles because of what you had invested in Jordyn Tyson. That all got flipped on its head now. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU, and the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. So whether you're in the Dome watching the Saints or you're at home watching the Hoodats, make sure you drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. You can get the officially licensed LSU cans in 16-ounce aluminum bottles. Remember, you can also get the officially licensed black New Orleans Saints cans, the black can with the gold fleur-de-lis. They're awesome. Find them at great local retailers and drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the Tigers, the official beer of the Saints, and the official beer of AFR. All right, every week we talk a little recruiting with Shea Dixon from On 3. We'll do it next. Stay here.
AFR.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential. Think real estate. Think Darren James, agent225.com, agent225.com. Look, agent225.com, not just Baton Rouge proper. I'm looking at Darren's Facebook page right here. Here's a golf course home in Gonzales that he's got on the market right now. Here's one in Ponchatoula that he's got listed as well. No matter where you are in the greater Baton Rouge area, if you need the realtor that sells more homes than anyone, you need Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com. Let Darren and his team go to work for you using all their state-of-the-art marketing technology and tools from LPT Realty to market your home, to get it sold faster and for more money. How many realtors do daily radio ads marketing your property? Darren James does. Agent225.com, agent225.com. Need to sell your home? You need Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James. Bayou Ford has 0% APR with no payments for 90 days and $1,000 down payment assistance on select 2026 Ford models.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
People ask why I chose to partner with Parrish. The answer is simple: trust. Whether you're choosing teammates, business partners, or the people working on your home or business, choose a company you know and trust. Visit parrishbuilt.com.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FML Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
I'm Billy Schmidt, and I've been with First American Bank for 13 years. I have a passion of getting to know customers, getting to know their journeys, getting to know their stories, and being a small part of that, and just continuing that, and taking those relationships and expanding out into the community, just to make First American a household name. And people look at us and say, hey, what's special about you guys? You're part of a family.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, rolling along here, Tuesday edition of AFR. We are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Every Tuesday, we visit with Shea Dixon from On3, the Bengal Tiger, part of the Rivals Network on the recruiting side. He's at Shea Dixon. Shady, how are you, dude? Doing really well. We're gonna get to. I don't think I hear Shea at all. Let's call him. We talked about this off. We're gonna try. Just you have his number. Get it, Paul. You have it. Ask Shea off air to give you his phone number, and please call him right now. All right, we were trying to connect there with the Zoom audio or the StreamYard audio, and I think we're not going to have success there. So we'll reconnect with Shea here in just a quick second. We'll get him on phone. I want to ask Shea. We'll get to some 2027 stuff, but one of the big dominoes that have started to fall are quarterbacks for 2028. If you haven't noticed, Georgia has a quarterback commit in Jaden Wade. Over the weekend, Donald Tabron committed to Texas A&M. He's the number 4 quarterback in the country for 2028. Texas has their quarterback commit. Alabama has their quarterback commit. Tennessee got a quarterback commit for 2028 as well. Caden Kraft here this week. So a lot of those quarterback dominoes for 2028 are starting to fall. Okay, so Shea Dixon's with us here now. Shea, thanks. Appreciate it, man. Thanks as always for the time. I was setting up the board for quarterbacks in 2028. We know Pop Houston's committed to LSU for 2027. Haven't heard much about quarterbacks for 2028, especially as we're starting to see a lot of these 2028 dominoes around the SEC fall. Where is LSU with quarterback for 2028?
Yeah, I think it's something we're going to get used to here, Matt. It's kind of a wait-and-see approach. Remember, when Kiffin got here, they already had a commitment, right, from Peyton Houston. And he had been, I think his very first offer was from Ole Miss, Charlie Weiss and Lane Kiffin, but they held on to him. So we didn't experience any quarterback recruiting this past cycle via Lane that wasn't the portal. And all three guys who are on roster scholarship-wise right now were portal additions from January. And we know that he did that, every year at Ole Miss? Was there anyone who, I guess I'd have to think about it, that didn't come from another school that ends up being the starting quarterback for
Matt
for
Corral, but he inherited Matt Corral.
Good point. So, but it's a good point, I guess. He's the guy who goes into the portal a good bit, and we're seeing that now. Sam Levitt certainly this year as the starter. But they, I want to say in our rankings, let's just say the top 10, I think 8 of them came to camp this summer, so clearly they're not, skipping it. They brought all these guys in. You talked about Donald Tabron. He was through. He just kid from Michigan, but committed to A&M and number 3 quarterback in the country. And right now you're starting to look around, and Texas got a quarterback commit. Georgia's had one from the number 1 quarterback, Jaden Wade. Number 2 quarterbacks committed to Ohio State. We mentioned Tabron, A&M. The number 4 quarterback is committed to Bama. Number 6 quarterbacks committed to Texas, 7, Indiana, 8, Tennessee. So I'm almost through the top 10, and these guys have already committed. These are guys going into their junior year. And look, dominoes drop for those juniors at quarterback more quickly than in the others, just because you're usually taking one, and they say, okay, if you want in, this is your time. LSU has a bunch of offers out to guys at quarterback in this class, but a couple of them who have committed to other schools had said, and even on record, hey, look, that was being handled by LSU. To the guy, or we're ready to take a commitment. And I think they want to see a junior year play out. I think they want to see what happens this year. Does Levy go pro, right? Or, do you have any of these guys, Longstreet or Landon Clark, hit the portal? Peyton Houston, does he stick around? All of these questions we don't have answers to right now. And I think Lane's strategy, and Billy Glasscock and Charlie Weiss, Dan Stevens, I guess quarterback's coach, is, hey, let's evaluate him and offer him. But there's no need to make a move right now, because what if that be guys or something else, right? Or what if someone else emerges that we like, or maybe we're like a handful of guys and we just don't know yet who we want to kind of really press. So normally LSU, we sat through the Bryce Underwood whole era of a year being committed, as a junior through his senior year and then flipping. And now you've had Peyton Houston, who I don't think he's flipping, obviously, but he'll have been committed for well over a year by the time he signs. That's not going to be the case moving forward, and certainly not this cycle. But I am looking at the offers they've handed out, and there's a good bit of them. Some of them are committed, some of them still uncommitted, but nobody getting pressed right now to commit. And I think that's just something that it's the most popular thing to talk about in recruiting as quarterback. But for Lane and them, I don't think juniors in high school, when the portal exists and you still have a full season ahead of you, is a pressing priority. And look, not going to disagree with it, considering the success he's had with every quarterback he's come across.
Is Knox Kiffin a possibility?
He's not a possibility. Okay. I know, look, Sam at Rivals, Spiegelman, listen, because he's worked at Times-Picayune and all that for a long time, but he did an update on him today, Matt, and was kind of just jumping around at top quarterbacks because these dominoes are falling.
Oh, wait, Shea, your phone. Wait, hang on. Your phone broke up. You said he did an update because the dominoes were starting falling.
Yeah, the dominoes have started to fall. So he wrote about the top quarterbacks out there, and with Knox, he said Missouri, Vanderbilt, and Georgia Tech are the teams Knox said are recruiting him the hardest as he gets ready for this first season at U-High. So I'm sure he'll kind of see even more increase in recruiting. But those are SEC and ACC offers. So we're talking about a kid who certainly is being looked at by schools across the country and already holding offers that are committable from schools and Power 4 conferences.
Shea, one more on Louisiana or on 2028. As we look ahead, and I'll go back to 27 in just a second, but As we look ahead to 2028, we start sort of getting into that as guys start committing earlier and earlier now. Who are some of the names that we need to be keeping an eye on for Louisiana prospects in 2028?
We can stay at U High. Cameron Grigsby, who's their cornerback, is a guy who is a name to know. He's already got an LSU offer. In fact, for I guess people who maybe aren't from Baton Rouge or just don't know the setup, U High is not only on LSU's campus, their football field is basically connected to LSU Football Ops Center. So when they had summer camp this summer, you have so many guys that they brought a lot of guys over to the U High field to get some extra work, and Corey Raymond was right there with Grigsby the whole time. So he's got offers from everybody, but I would keep an eye on him. He is, when we talk local, Baton Rouge, I mean, Cameron Grigsby playing at U High is going to be a name to know for next year. And then you bounce around to the other big schools. Look, Ruston, you're in it with, got a commit from Ahmad Hudson and Anding, so you've got 2 Ruston kids committed for this cycle. And then they had a kid named Shamar Evans transfer in from Mississippi in the offseason. He's already a 4-star for next year, linebacker, and they've offered him early and sent a bunch of the staff up to watch him. And simultaneously, when they sent the staff up there, they sent a bunch of the offensive staff, and not just for Ahmad Hudson, but to also see Dalen Powell, who's Ruston's starting running back now, and it's going to be an LSU. Stop me if you've heard this before. Ole Miss, and then Miami battle for him, according to Powell. That's what he told us this week. So jump over to Westgate, which is a school that, strangely for South Louisiana, it's kind of been hit or miss at times. Like they signed Keishawn Butte, but then they've had other guys go out of state, and do you get back on track there? And I do think they lead for Caden Lainslow, who's a 4-star receiver. He just picked up a Georgia offer, actually, so we're talking about a pretty high-profile kid. He'll be playing his junior year now at Westgate. And then in his same class, playing edge, Chance Archangel, both these kids are ranked as rivals, 300 players, and have offers from LSU and everybody else. He popped for A&M and committed to Mike Elko when he went to camp this summer before he got a chance to camp at LSU. And then we've been in a dead period, so it's kind of been quiet. But we caught up with him this week, and he told Sam that the school trying to flip him the most right now is LSU. So they're going to go after an A&M commit who's over at Westgate. So between Ruston, Westgate, U High, those were some of the guys who kind of made headlines this week, just talking up, hey, look, LSU's really putting the press on me, and we're still, a number of months out from this 2027 class signing. So they're doing a little, even if quarterback news isn't coming for 2028 yet, they certainly are recruiting all these other positions pretty heavily.
I saw also, Shea, over at Rivals, that LSU's kind of in the mix for a 4-star wide receiver who actually is, I guess, a legacy, the younger brother of Alex Adams. LSU's in on
you
him?
Remember Alex Adams?
I do.
So for fans, I guess he signed and transferred out, and then he went off. Gosh, I can't remember where he went. Toledo, maybe, but he had like 1,000-yard season after that. But anyhow, he signed with LSU out of Mississippi. His younger brother now is another big-time recruit. I love this. His name's Antoine, but he goes by Cornbread Adams.
Let's go.
So, let's get it.
He's got to come to Louisiana. Soul food.
He's in Mississippi too, so I guess
okay, fair enough.
But his exact quote was when asked this week, when we asked him, he said, "Who's leading?" And he said, "Ole Miss is definitely up there. Then you have LSU right there too. I love both those schools right now, and this comes with a bit of a caveat. Ole Miss wants him at receiver. LSU wants him at DB. So if that plays out, the same over the course of the next year or 2 years of his high school career, he'll have to pick. But the story's up on the Bengal Tiger. You can read more. He talked about the differences between the two, and the selling point for LSU being playing at DBU and being able to, be a part of that legacy. So that's obviously a pretty big selling point when you're pitching guys to play for you and they play cornerback or safety. So, one to watch for him. I knew who he was just because he'd been getting offers, but I didn't know until we did the interview that he's Alex Adams' little brother. So, like you said, do you call them legacies if they transfer out? I guess we do.
Yeah, no, for sure, obviously. Okay, one more for you, Shea. At Shea Dixon is where you can follow him, of course, get subscribed. Great time to get subscribed over at Rivals with the 27 class going to be punctuated here in December and then rolls right into 2028. Anything else that we need to know with the dead period about to lift here for the 2027 class?
Yeah, that Clemson weekend, they are just adding kids to it every day. But, your headliners, Easton Royal, 5-star. We can't go a week without saying it. So there's his name, Easton Royal, your 5-star out of Brother Martin, committed to Texas. He'll be at that game. Ahmad Hudson, your 5-star tight end out of Ruston, who Nebraska is still trying to flip, will be at that game. And it'll be a monster weekend. But these are 2027 kids, right? So they're seniors. They're signing in December. And briefly, Matt, I'll tell you, they are ranked number 10 right now, but they only have 16 commits. It's the fewest in the top 25. And we do a rolling rankings. I love this. Like, you could sign 30 guys back in the day and get the number one class by default. We sort of do a rolling average. So the rolling average right now nationally is 17 commits. So once you get beyond that, they're only counting your highest at ranked 17 commits because they anticipate those are the guys that are probably going to impact your program the most. Right now, LSU doesn't even have 17 commits, so even your lowest-ranked kids are being counted. You still have a top 10 class, and I guess that's evidenced by my next point. Ranked number 4 nationally in blue chip percentage, which is just 5- and 4-star commits. 75% of the class, these seniors, would make up 16 commits, and that checks out at number 4 overall. So pretty good to have, the only team with fewer 16 commits is the lowest of any top 25 team, and you're in the top 10, and you're counting every commit you have, which nobody else in this top 10 is. And in addition to that you're ranked inside the top 5 in blue chip percentage. So we can get all the portal fanfare in the world. It's fun. But boy, they aren't skipping high school recruiting. They are still going after guys who are highly ranked that they seem to like and are able to get on board and carrying that momentum right on from what they did this past cycle when, golly, they signed all these kids who now we're talking about as potential starters, like Geralds and Anderson and Lamar Brown, and the list goes on and on. So, yes, high school recruiting isn't dead, despite what everybody thought maybe when Lane Kiffin got hired.
Shea Dixon, On 3, the Bengal Tiger. He's the best. You can go get subscribed over there at On 3, the Bengal Tiger, part of the Rivals Network. We appreciate it, man. Thanks as always.
Thanks, Matt. Glad you're well.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. It's after further review. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. If it's time to buy tires, and let's be honest, that ain't fun. Nobody wants to buy tires, but sometimes you need to buy tires. And if you need to buy tires, you're going to want to buy them where they're the cheapest. They'll always do the job to get you the best tires at the cheapest price. Right now, up to $230 off Pirelli tires. That's a $100 instant rebate from Pirelli. You get free installation, which is a $130 value when you use your Shaw Bills credit card. Get all the deets at the website or on their Facebook page right there. It's ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Name brand tires at wholesale prices, and they keep you coming back because they treat you like family. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this Tuesday edition of AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We're going to knock out a quick break. When we come back, we will go around the SEC. Also, the AP preseason All-America team is out. Tigers are represented. We'll talk about it coming up a little bit. And Chris Hummer from CBS Sports in 45 minutes from right now. Really interesting piece that he and John Talty did about the money invested, the highest salaries or money invested in college football rosters this season. They pulled some 50 player personnel and staffers around college football to put that list together. Interesting stuff. We'll talk about it with Chris Hummer again in about 45 minutes from right now. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Did y'all see the heat index later this week is 107? 107. You know, the only thing that makes being outside when the heat index is 107 that makes it bearable is taking a swan dive into your own pool. I got mine. You want to get yours? Duplessis Pools. DuplessisPools.com. DuplessisPools.com. You're from Louisiana. You can spell Duplessis. DuplessisPools.com. Go to the website. Hit pick your pool on the homepage. You're going to love this feature. There's 11 different pool designs. Pick one. It'll bring up a 3D model. You start to pick your finishes. There it is right there if you're watching. As you pick your lights, your water wall, your tiling, coping, you want a sun deck, whatever, it's going to add it immediately to the 3D build-out. It'll change the price as well as you add, so you can adjust and see exactly what you're adding and how much it costs. You can even drop a credit card in there. Boom, they'll send you a contract. You're in the queue. DuplessisPools.com. Check them out online, y'all. It's DuplessisPools.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new Ram 1500 truck on our lot now with $22,000 off MSRP.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FML Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
The Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office protects and serves over 132,000 residents across the parish.
Keeping our community safe is our mission.
Looking for work? Call Big Jake at River Parish Contractors, 318-547-1000, 318-547-1000, 318-547-1000. That's how you get Big Jake over at River Parish Contractors. Right now, they are looking for heavy equipment operators in Geismar and Norco. Told you, they hire on both sides of the river. They have work on both sides of the river. Their fab shop is in reserve. All the work is between Chalmette and Baton Rouge. So no matter what, no matter where you want to work, you will be home with your family every night. That is unless you want to work nights, which they have that option as well. They have as much overtime as you want as well. If you're interested in working for an awesome company, you got to call Big Jake over at River Parish Contractors. Check them out online at rpcontractors.com, rpcontractors.com. Call Big Jake, River Parish Contractors.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
The Associated Press has released their preseason All-American team. How about Trey'Dez Green? First team preseason All-American. Dante Moore, the quarterback from Oregon, was named the first team quarterback from the AP on the preseason All-American team. Running backs, Kewan Lacey from Ole Miss, Ahmad Hardy from Missouri. So a couple of SEC running backs make the first team offense on preseason All-SEC. Interestingly enough, Trevor Gooseby, the left tackle from Texas, is one of the two starters at tackle, which we'll get to that around the SEC because Gooseby suffered an injury, which could be devastating for Texas. We'll get to. Other notables here on the list, kicker Tate Sandell from Oklahoma was the first team kicker. On the defense, Colin Simmons, no surprise there. Dylan Stewart, two SEC edge rushers on the list. David Stone from Oklahoma on the list is one of the defensive tackles. Xavier Atkins. That has to sting for LSU fans. The former LSU a linebacker who played his freshman season in Baton Rouge was lured into the portal by Auburn. They broke him off, and good for them. It's part and parcel with what happens in college football today. Everybody does it, but that's what happened with Xavier Atkins. Is he was a guy that LSU loved. They hated to lose, but that was at a point before LSU got really aggressive fundraising for their collective. I say this all the time, and it blows people's minds when we talk about it, but the 2024 LSU roster, Nuss's first year as the starter, LSU's complete roster, the full roster spend was less than $5 million. Listen to what I just said. You've done a 10x on that number in 2 years. But that's why a guy like Xavier Atkins left. He went to Auburn. They paid him, and good for them. And now he's a preseason first-team All-American linebacker. That said, still feel pretty good about what LSU has at the position with Whit Weeks, with TJ Daugherty, with Devon Keys. I might argue that LSU has the best trio of linebackers in the SEC, maybe in college football with those guys. But certainly stings losing a guy like Xavier Atkins. And anyway, preseason first team All-Americas. Again, Tradez on the list. Jordan Seaton was named second team. Lucas Carniero, the place kicker from Ole Miss, named second team as well. Ty Benefield, a second team preseason All-America safety. So a lot of the hype continues for Ty Benefield, but 3 LSU Tigers on the preseason AP All-America team. Tradez a first teamer, and then Jordan Seaton and Ty Benefield, a couple of transfers, made the second team. We'll start to get more and more information. More and more of those preseason All-America teams will come out. And I'd much rather have a guy on the postseason All-America team than the preseason All-America team. But just a little indication, some honors for some guys as the season just getting ready to kick off here a week from Saturday with week 0. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels, they like to say they're in the celebration business. If you're looking to celebrate an engagement, if you're looking to celebrate an anniversary, if you're looking to celebrate a birthday, celebrate a promotion, whatever it may be, whatever you're celebrating, if you want to thrill her with a gift in the red box, you go to Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. lmfj.com, lmfj.com, 9 locations. And when we're talking about Lee Michaels, I love the fact that they're big enough to offer you a great selection, and because they buy for 9 stores, they can pass along great savings to you as well. It's not like the boutique jewelers where you're probably not going to have a great selection. It's going to be more expensive. And it's not like the cookie cutter big box stores. Lee Michaels is that perfect, that just right in between. And you always get the Lee Michaels experience. lmfj.com. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Texas Longhorns.
We mentioned it there just a smidge ago, but starting left tackle Trevor Gooseby left Monday's practice with an apparent knee injury. Anwar Richardson from Orange Bloods reported it. They're waiting on the diagnosis and imaging to see what the issue may be. Gooseby's a 6'7", 320-pound tackle that started all 13 games at left tackle. Remember, he replaced Kelvin Banks after Banks was a first-round pick of the New Orleans Saints. This could be potentially seismic. The All-American left tackle from Texas awaiting word on the severity of a knee injury.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Vols landed a quarterback commit, 2028 prospect Caden Kraft, the number 3 quarterback in the country, has picked Tennessee. 6'4", 205. He's out of North Carolina. He's the number 103 overall prospect in America. Had offers from Florida, LSU, Michigan, Ole Miss, Oregon, tons of big-time prospects. But he picks Tennessee. Of course, signed Faison Brandon in this most recent class, who very likely going to be the starter for the Vols here this year.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Starting center Jake Makuula's knee injury not thought to be season-ending. That's the good news for Brent Venables and the Sooners. He was seen emotional after getting rolled on during Monday's practice there in Norman. Just sprained MCL, expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks, but not season-ending for Oklahoma starting center.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Vandy got a commit from Temple defensive lineman Khalil Potet. He was granted the injunction against the NCAA, ruled eligible to play for this upcoming season with 1 more year of eligibility after spending 2 years at the JUCO level and last year at Temple. Vandy fortifies its defensive line.
Texas A&M!
And after playing 2 seasons with the Longhorns, 5th-year point guard Jordan Pope will play his final season of college basketball in Aggie Land. The former Longhorn point guard committed to Bucky McMillan and the Aggies on Monday after receiving his final season of eligibility from that preliminary injunction from the Colorado judge earlier this month. Pope will battle LSU transfer Jalen Reese for the starting point guard position. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. SunEquip.com, SunEquip.com. Bunkie and below, you want a Deere, you're going to Sunshine, proud partner of LSU Athletics. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, Roger Goodell says the NFL having a team internationally, inevitable. His strongest statement on the topic yet. We'll react to it next. It's AFR.
After further review.
Rev Fiber, proud partner of LSU Athletics. Tomorrow, Lane Kiffin will meet with reporters after practice, on Thursday, actually, after practice. And when he does, after practice Thursday and throughout the entire season, you'll see the little mic flag on all the press conferences, and it'll say Rev Fiber. Rev is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. 90 years of serving the greater Baton Rouge area. 90 years in South Louisiana. What that means is when you call Rev, you're going to get great customer service from people that are local. Their call center is here. You're not shipped to a call center overseas. When you call Rev, you're getting people here. You're also getting better price and a better product as well. Why would you trust anyone else? For internet service, for home automation, security, phone, cable, they can do it all for your home or for your business. It's Rev Fiber. Check them out online at revfiber.com, revfiber.com. Rev Fiber, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
People think it's all about game day. Let's go! But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts,
Extra reps. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
So we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
People ask why I chose to partner with Parrish. The answer is simple: trust. Whether you're choosing teammates, business partners, or the people working on your home or business, choose a company you know and trust. Visit parrishbuilt.com.
Man.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Something we didn't get to a day ago was the PFF grades from Saints Jags. We'll get to that here right after SportsCenter in a bit. Then we'll talk to Chris Hummer from CBS Sports. Chris Hummer and John Talty did a piece today over at CBS Sports where they looked at the roster spend, the programs in America that spent the most on college football rosters for this coming season. And I thought it was a pretty interesting, there's an interesting commonality among all of them with one outlier. Again, we're going to get to that here in about 25 minutes or so. Roger Goodell has talked plenty over the years about the NFL having a team permanently based abroad. These, though, I think would have to be his most definitive comments on it. Goodell was recently giving an interview with the German media outlet RTL/NTV. Not sure what that is. But he was speaking to former NFL player Marcus Kuhn during the interview. And Goodell said, quote, "At some point, there will be NFL teams outside the USA. I have no doubt that this will happen one day." Teams, plural. So first of all, for all the reasons that we criticize Roger Goodell, I understand, especially here in Louisiana, because of what is perceived or otherwise, Roger Goodell's disdain for the New Orleans Saints. I don't know necessarily that it's the Saints. It was more the feud that Goodell and Sean Payton had, which led to Bountygate. The sort of interesting contradiction is that Goodell is one of the chief reasons and figures why the NFL is still in New Orleans. Because after Katrina, then Commissioner Paul Tagliabue effectively told Tom Benson, kick rocks, you're not moving the team. And Goodell was the one that was the conduit with the NFL and the city of New Orleans to make sure everything got back on track. So Roger Goodell actually played a really big part in the Saints staying in New Orleans, but he and Sean Payton feuded so famously that it led to Bountygate and all of the perception of the NFL disliking the Saints. I don't know that they didn't like the Saints, but certainly it was Goodell and Payton. That was a real thing. But in spite of all that, Roger Goodell deserves a tremendous amount of credit for growing the revenues and the exposure of the NFL. They have continued to expand the international series, growing the NFL's footprint abroad. Obviously, the TV contracts have become enormous. I think making the NFL calendar such that it is a 12-month sport, the NFL draft, turning it into a 3-day event with 2 primetime windows, the NFL schedule release a primetime TV event. Like Roger Goodell has taken every advantage to continue to grow the revenues and awareness of the NFL. That is an undeniable truth. He has been amazing at that, as disliked as he may be by the public. But that's his job. He gets paid a buttload of money to be the one that stands in front of the owners and takes all the slings and arrows. But I would caution you, man, be careful flying too close to the sun. You know, every time you continue to take games international, you're taking home games away from fans in the U.S. When you remove games from fans in NFL cities, it's going to happen in New Orleans this year. You're losing a home game to the game in Paris. You're increasing travel, which means you're increasing wear and tear on the players' bodies. You're lengthening the season, all in the name of expanded revenue, which I get, and the players benefit as well, and they can collectively bargain. But the thing that I would say all the time is, you know, there's this statistic that if you're a fan of business, you'll understand and appreciate it. But if you go back and look at the history of the Fortune 500 list, right? The Fortune 500 are the top 500 companies in the world. The first ever Fortune 500 list came out in 1955. 88% of those businesses are out of business. 88% of the top 500 businesses in the world on the initial Forbes Fortune 500 are out of business. If you just go back to the year 2000, just look at a quarter century, don't even go back to 1955, go back 26 years to the year 2000, 52% of those businesses no longer exist. Sometimes we think something is too big to fail. And then when you become too big to fail, you're like the Titanic and you don't see your blind spot and you crash into an iceberg. I'm not saying that's imminent for the NFL, but something I've talked about a lot here. Soccer is evidence of it. You're seeing it in things like MMA, the NBA, where some of these other leagues, their fan bases are getting younger. The NFL is getting older, which tells you that in time, the trend is suggesting you're going to get passed. So it may seem like a great idea to go international and move teams internationally and raise revenue, which will happen in the short term. What impact does it have in the long term? I'm sure they're considering it, and then they're going to do it anyway. But growing too big may be the thing that ultimately is the NFL's undoing. See if it happens in my lifetime. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Let me knock out a quick break. We opened the show today talking about Jordyn Tyson's injury and the impact. Certainly is an opportunity for a lot of these receivers. How do they fare against the Jags? The PFF grades are out. We'll talk about them next.
After further review.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows. Beautiful entry doors. Hardy plank vinyl siding. Oh, yeah. They do shutters, too. Relief Windows. Proud partner of LSU Athletics. Pretty excited, man. If you saw it on social media, they released some photos on all their social media accounts last week of Brandon filming the new Relief Windows commercials in Tiger Stadium, of course, as a proud partner of LSU Athletics. And there may just be a few young defensive linemen participating in those ads as well as NIL partners with Relief Windows and with Brandon. So, I don't know, you might even see a big defensive end from Baton Rouge who wears number 55 in that spot as well with Brandon, maybe. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. And look, with the heat indexes getting up where they are, you want to make your home more energy efficient. Install energy efficient replacement windows, and there's no one better than Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. ReliefWindows.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new Ram 1500 truck on our lot now with $22,000 off MSRP.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months because everyone deserves a safe, secure home. Trusted, local, affordable. Pelican Roofing, making quality roofing affordable for South Louisiana families.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Sean Ryder, the founder of ESPN. Bill Rasmussen has passed away at 93 years old. He launched ESPN in 1979 as the world's first 24-hour TV network. Turning to the NFL, and Commissioner Roger Goodell told a German media outlet that the league will eventually have a team permanently based outside the U.S. The Giants are signing former Steelers running back Najee Harris to a one-year deal. Baseball, the Dodgers are 75-51, but have struggled some over the past month and a half. Royals analyst and former first baseman Eric Hosmer on those struggles.
When you hear Dave Roberts, the manager of the Dodgers, speak in his press conferences, he is trying to wake up his players, man. Like, you can see he is not happy the way they're playing. It's one of those things where it's like, hey, we set the standard here. We're playing against ourselves, not the other team, and we're not playing up to our standard. So to hear Dave Roberts say that, that's kind of that wake-up call before October here, and you can't just turn it on. We got to be playing good going into October.
Eric Hosmer on the Pat McAfee Show. Diamondbacks placing all-star second baseman Ketel Marte on the restricted list after he was a no-show for last night's game against the Red Sox in Boston.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Jordan Kitchens.
Short, 20-footer, head of the key, good!
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Chris Hummer from CBS Sports will be here in 15 minutes from right now. The Saints are hitting the practice field quite literally right now. 4 o'clock Central Time, 2 o'clock Pacific. Joint practice with the Cowboys. They play the Rams this weekend, but they're doing joint practices with the Cowboys and the Rams while they're out on the West Coast. So our buddy Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net, is out there in L.A. covering the Saints. He normally joins us whenever we have a Saints practice report. However, the Saints won't be off the practice field until after we're done here. So no report from Ross today. Well, hopefully we can make that work tomorrow, depending on the practice schedule. So, but you'll get a full report write-up over at LouisianaSports.net as soon as the Saints are off the field, and we get it written and edited. So be on the lookout for that. One more opportunity to look back to Saturday's preseason opener against Jacksonville. And something we do every year throughout the season, each week, is we look at the Pro Football Focus grades. And the caveat that I always give, it's a metric, it's not the metric, it's just something to consider. It's a data point. You have the eye test, you have what the coaches say, they have their own scouting evaluation. This is just some other piece of objective data that you can look at and see if it confirms or disconfirms what you think. It's just another advanced metric to look at. And I think there were some interesting things that stood out here for New Orleans on the PFF grades. We'll do offense, and we'll look at defense. When you look at the top, the highest graded players offensively, I was pleasantly surprised to see that it was 2 offensive linemen. So Easton Kilty, who played 21 snaps at right guard. Remember, nobody plays the full game, really. But Easton Kilty, who played 21 snaps at right guard, and Asim Richards, who got the start at left tackle, were your 2 highest graded players on the offensive side. Kilty graded at an 86, and Richards graded at an 81.4. Next up were Zach Wilson and Bub Means. That should come as no surprise whatsoever. Wilson was really efficient, and Means was his favorite target. I look at that and I say, all right, the Saints know who their first 5 are on the offensive line, but typically you're going to keep 7 or 8 offensive linemen. You have your first 5, and then you have a swing tackle, and then your interior player. Well, I think I, like many, would just assume, look, Torricelli Simpkins is probably your backup center and can play guard on the interior. It's a really nice performance there by Easton Kilty, and maybe there's an opportunity there for him. And Asim Richards is your backup left tackle. If he plays well for the next couple of weeks, that might very well be a man who makes the 53 as your swing offensive tackle. It's just, we all would have assumed, another point about Kilty, I think we would have assumed that Dylan Radins would have been your backup interior offensive lineman, former second-round pick, started half the season last year due to injury, but his torn ACL done for the season opens up a spot for a backup depth piece on the interior on the 53, and maybe Easton Kilty is someone worth watching. Audric Estime was also just outside of the top 5 at 6. The one knock was his pass blocking grade was an 18.7, but scored the touchdown on the first offensive snap, which was good to see. At the bottom of the rankings offensively for New Orleans, your lowest 2 rated players were Maliki Matavao and Jeremiah Wright. Matavao was a tight end draft pick a year ago. Jeremiah Wright, of course, an offensive lineman out of Auburn this year. I don't know that there's a spot on this roster for Maliki Matavao. And again, he was a 7th-round pick, and 7th-round picks are hardly a sure thing. But when you look at the fact that the Saints have Juwan Johnson coming back, and they drafted Oscar Delp, of course, they signed Noah Fant. Maybe Matavao is a practice squad player that they might keep, considering they have a draft pick invested in him, but that seems unlikely. Jeremiah Wright is one of those guys, obviously was a 4th-round pick out of Auburn this year, and he's, as we talk about that rotational interior player, would stand to reason he's one of those guys. But when you look at the contrast with Easton Kilty, who played exceptionally well, and Jeremiah Wright, who did not, do we end up seeing a position battle there with those guys on the interior with Dylan Radins lost for the season? Something to watch as you move through the next 2 preseason games. Again, when you use a draft pick like the Saints did on someone like Jeremiah Wright, they're not going to run the risk of losing him and not signing him. My guess is he'll be on that initial 53, but it is a spot where maybe he makes that initial 53, then you cut him and sign him to the practice squad, perhaps. Just something to watch here for the remainder of camp. When you flip it over to the defensive side, there's really no surprise with what was at the top, as we talked about guys like Jaden Price, who had an interception, Martin Emerson, who was just awesome. And I'll tell you, I'm hopeful. Your top 5 were Price, Emerson, Jalen Ford, who also had an interception, Christian Miller, who played on the interior, played 17 snaps at defensive tackle for you, and then Isaiah Stallbird, who started at weak side linebacker at will, was right there as well. By the way, Jaden Price in 21 snaps graded out at a 95.3. Emerson was a 90.9. Ford was a 90.8. Christian Miller was a 90.5. That's incredible. Like, you get over 90 in a PFF grade, that is remarkable. But you look at the other side of it, and I think what's interesting as we talk about Price and Emerson, look at the other side when you start to look at how the cornerback depth might play out. Like, at the bottom was Malachi Williams, Khalil Saunders, but the next 2 from the bottom were Isaac Yiadom and TJ Hall. TJ Hall was your 7th-round pick out of Iowa, and Yiadom, of course, you re-sign in free agency after he had signed with San Francisco a year ago. Like, Lorenzo Styles is next from the bottom right there, and he's a rookie, and I'm not surprised, and Hall's a rookie as well. But one of my consistent points all offseason has been, and really going back to the draft, that I'm really concerned about the Saints at corner. They were a top 10 defense in the NFL a year ago. They were 9th in total defense. Alontae Taylor walked in free agency to Tennessee, and by the way, I'm good with that. Like, would you have loved to retain Alontae Taylor? Yes. Not at the price that Tennessee paid. So I'm good letting them walk if that was the market for Alontae Taylor. I don't like that they didn't address corner, that they effectively just said, well, okay, Kool-Aid McKinstry, move up a chair. Like, I don't think they have an elite number 1 cornerback. What they did, however, in adding Price and Emerson clearly, he's a former 3rd-round pick, by the way, is add guys who could play at the NFL level and clearly just outclassed the preseason competition. Like, Martin Emerson is a starting caliber cornerback in the NFL, was in Cleveland before his injury a year ago, and he tore his Achilles. but you put a starter on the field against Jacksonville who didn't play any starters. So you put a starting caliber NFL player on the field against backups, and you saw the result. So that's one of those things where it's like, okay, great. Now let me see how that looks as you continue through the remainder of the preseason. And I would love to see Emerson get some looks against an opponent's starters, whether that's in the joint practices this week or next, whether that's in preseason games, whether that's against the Saints starters with some reps against the ones. Like, I want to see that because that's a guy who very well may be someone beelining not only toward just a roster spot, but being an impact player among your top 3 cornerbacks. So I thought it was telling because sometimes your eye test tells you the answer, and it was certainly with those cornerbacks and with Jalen Ford, and great to see Christian Miller. I mean, you're talking about a second-round pick on the defensive line, and especially after Brian Brazee's injury, you are expecting Christian Miller to play an important role on the interior of that defensive line, and a good start for the Saints rookie out of Georgia. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Rouse's. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Of course, all the Saints are on the practice field. You see those Saints practice jerseys. You always see the red Rouse's patch, as Rouse's bought the patch, the jersey patch for the practice jerseys for the New Orleans Saints. Proud partners of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. It's Tuesday. Of course, remember, every Tuesday is $5 Sushi Tuesdays over at all Rouse's locations. 76 locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach and points in between. Heading home tonight, and you want to pick up dinner for the whole family, pick up everyone's favorite roll with $5 Sushi Tuesdays over at all 76 Rouse's locations, no matter where you are. Lake Charles to Orange Beach, points in between. You're never far from a Rouse's location. Get everything you need while you make your groceries, pick up dinner for the whole fam. It's at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home. It's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We are going to talk to Chris Hummer from CBS Sports here in just a smidge. I got a question on the show text line. Remember, you can always text me, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. It was Nick who said, Matt, true or false? LSU men's basketball currently has only 4 players on the roster. Well, officially they have 5. Unofficially, the roster's full. Will Wade told you this much. Will told you when he did the interview on John Rothstein's podcast when they were talking about the international players, and I think they had 1 player on the roster at the time, and he said, come the start of school, we'll be fine. Well, school starts on Monday, is the official start of the semester on the 24th. And so when a lot of these guys are formally enrolled and start classes, then you'll see. But look, everyone that we've had on the show, Heath Schroyer joined us when we did the show in Lake Charles, about a month ago or so, and he wink, wink, nod, nod, nudge, the same thing. Everyone you talk to at LSU, they all say the same thing. They give you this sort of sly look when you ask about the basketball team. It's hard to get a straight answer from anyone, but they all kind of give you this sly, like, cat that ate the canary look. Like, they all know the roster has more than 5 guys on it. They're going to be fine, and I think we'll see in very, very short order, probably by Monday when classes start. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Tuesday edition of AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Quick break. Chris Hummer covers college football for CBS Sports. He's here next on AFR.
AFR.
Remember River City's 1 hour air? They're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. And when the heat index is 107, you cannot get stuck sweating in your home. So if your AC is on the fritz, if it's having trouble keeping up, call River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. They're always on time or you don't pay a dime. A scheduled time to be at your house. If they're 1 minute late, you don't come out of pocket 1 cent. That's their pledge to you. But also, they want you to feel really comfortable with who's coming to your home. So when a technician's on the way, you're going to get a call, a text, and an email alerting you the technician's on the way. They'll send you the name of the technician, a photo of that technician, and reviews of that technician so you can feel comfortable who's coming into your home. It's River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season. And we need a healthcare team
that works as hard as we do.
At FML Health, our Lay of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
People ask why I chose to partner with Parrish. The answer is simple: trust. Whether you're choosing teammates, business partners, or the people working on your home or business, choose a company you know and trust. Visit parrishbuilt.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs.
If you're building a metal building, or you need a metal building, I should say, you need ProForm Steel. ProFormLA.com. ProFormLA.com. They're on Airline Highway in Gonzales. ProFormLA.com. Brandon Golson and the gang, they do great work. Of course, Brandon's on the state licensing board, so you know you're getting a great ethical company. That's part of it. But it also doesn't matter what size metal building you need. If it's a shed in your backyard, or you're a big commercial or industrial facility that needs a metal building, you want ProForm Steel. All the materials they use are American-made. Literally every single material that goes in their metal building, you're supporting American jobs. Their engineers, they're all in-house. So their lead times are going to be faster than anyone else, generally a month to 6 weeks faster than competitors. And every single building, you buy a metal building from ProForm Steel, they'll deliver it for free. ProFormLA.com. Get a quote. ProFormLA.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Chris Hummer and John Talty over at CBS Sports have a piece up where they talked to some 50 industry insiders to rank college football's most expensive rosters. I don't think it should come as any surprise to anyone that LSU is there at the top of this list, as we've talked plenty about an LSU roster that's going to tip the scales at about $50 million. Chris Hummer's good enough to join us here for a couple of minutes on the show. Hey, Chris, we appreciate the time as always, man. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yep, it's our pleasure. Let's start with this. So you and John Talty put this this piece together. You poll 50-plus industry insiders, as you note. How did you go about building this list?
We tried to talk to somebody at every Power 4 program, basically, somebody in a position to know that. And we also tried to ask everybody where they feel like people they recruit against and people in their conference are. And you talk to everyone from athletic directors to GMs to front office officials and coaches, and you try to piece the puzzle together as best you can because everybody calculates numbers differently. And everybody has different motivations to share the numbers. You have to judge who you trust best and the information you're told and kind of try to cross-check it as much as you can.
Yeah. So with that, how much variance do you think is in there, Chris?
Well, we did the bucket and ranges for a reason. So we have a separate list of 24/7 Sports where we split every Power 4 conference into tiers as well. I would say per team, maybe the same way you think about a political poll. You have a 3-point margin, right, on both sides. And I could see it going a couple $1 million both ways, depending on how incentives are calculated and depending on how some teams choose or choose not to factor in MMR deals to their number and how they kind of split their rev share and everything else. But I would say a couple $1 million one way or the other, we feel like we're in a pretty good position with.
How many, as you mentioned, there is the conference by conference tier breakdown, which I'll get to that here in a second. But when you look at the main list that was released, and there's, for example, like the more than $40 million roster where you list that handful of teams, how many do you think were, as best you could tell, were close that just missed the cut?
So we have 12 teams in that article, and we featured 5 that weren't in that $40 million bucket. That was USC, Michigan, Tennessee.
I'm looking at Ole Miss and Georgia.
Yes, those 5, I think, were right on the cusp. You're talking about $1 million or $2 million away from being in that $40 million bucket.
So what would be if you were doing another tier, what would that look like?
Are you talking about under that tier?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, under. Yeah, if you're going, so like, if you have these 12 teams that you all feature, like at or just over or just at or under 40 million, and there's 12 teams, what's like the next, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's got to be, like, what's the next, there's a line of demarcation. So what would be the next tier if you were putting a tier together?
Yeah, I think at that point you get into the mid-30s, and you start to talk about a team like Alabama. You start to get into the Indianas of the world. You start to get closer to where Texas Tech is this year without Brendan Thorsby, for example. That's who you start to pull in at that point. There are a pretty limited number of teams above 30 that are not in the 40s. You could throw in Nebraska and Wisconsin, but they're on the lower end of that range. So it would really be those 3 teams plus like maybe Oklahoma in the SEC, and there are a couple other SEC teams that are in the low 30s. But that mid-30s range, there isn't really a ton of traffic, to be honest.
Sure. I love this quote that you attribute to an SEC front office staffer about LSU. Quote, LSU is almost in a tier of its own this year. Best guess, based on everything that you were able to gather, how much did LSU spend on this roster?
So we put them in the 40s, like we have them in the $40 million bucket, but I've had multiple sources that I trust on the number say it's above 50, in the low 50s, to be honest. So I would say between, let's say, $48 million and $54 million is the bucket I would fill LSU in. And I lean towards the 50 number, despite the fact that we had them in the 40 bucket, because we didn't get that 100% confirmed. But if I would be surprised if LSU wasn't college football's first $50 million roster, to be honest.
Yeah, it's over 50 this year, Chris. I'll tell you that. Did you all talk at all? I'm curious, outside of LSU, about, did you have staffers talk to you about structure of deals? Meaning, are there escalators or de-escalators or things like that in any of these deals?
Yeah, I mean, that would be a whole separate article. But yes, like deals are structured in very different ways across the sport. Schools use incentives in different ways. Schools structure contracts in different ways in terms of years. The way schools break up MMR deals into small chunks just to get to the number they're trying to legally is very interesting. There are certainly a variety of avenues teams are willing to take to get to the numbers they have to get to, because I think it's important for people to remember we're talking about, let's say LSU, let's say they have a $50 million roster. Like, I don't know what their rev share number is. I would imagine it's somewhere around $14 to $15 million, like most Power 4 schools. You have to make that money up through the CSC, that $35 million somehow, and you have to do some very creative contract building and accounting to get yourself there.
Yeah. What surprised you, if you had a preconceived notion going into this piece and you came out of it thinking, well, I didn't think that was going to come or turn that way?
There were a couple that fit in that bucket. SMU, I think, is a team that people associate with big dollars. I think they're a little lower than people think. The level Indiana's gotten to was a bit surprising given where they were even 12 months ago. Like, they have changed themselves from being a team that was aspirationally competing to a team that's gone all in on football and is fundraising like it. And there are also, frankly, some teams in the ACC and the Big 12 that surprised me with how low they are. You still have teams in the mid to low teens in college football in this era. So you're talking about a $30 to $40 million gulf from the top to the bottom of the P4, which is rather significant.
Chris Hummer's with us from CBS Sports. Is it possible to compete for a championship from a Power 4? I'm not talking about being like a G5 school that can get a G5 auto bid or G6, whatever. Is it possible to spend in the teens and be a playoff contender?
I really think that remains to be determined, and I know that's a cop-out answer, but we're only like 2 years away from everybody competing for a national championship being in the teens, basically. This has changed so fast. I mean, LSU, you know as well as I do, that number was less than half of what it was last year, and LSU came into the season as a top 5 team. But I do think, in talking to general managers across the sport, the thinking is, in order to be nationally competitive this year, that number probably starts around $25 million. Will somebody from the Big 12 or from the ACC that spends considerably less than that pop up? Sure. But in order to actually win a national championship, I would be surprised if anybody that wasn't in the $25 million plus bucket came close, just because of what's required.
The other thing that I was so curious about, Chris, as you did all the research, it's a great read. You go read it over at CBS Sports. I'm so curious about teams that how they're choosing to spend their money on portal as opposed to high school. So A&M is the glaring example of this right now, because they have right now committed for the class of 2027, maybe the greatest class ever. But the question is, like, okay, that's fantastic if you sign them, but didn't they learn this lesson in 2022 when they signed all those 5 stars and a year later they left? One of the quotes you attribute to a staffer is a Power 4 GM is guys wouldn't even leave there, meaning A&M. We were throwing stupid stuff out there, and they wouldn't leave A&M. Do you think A&M and Mike Elko are building their roster in a different kind of way by maybe going more heavily on high school than portal because they're spending so much they think those guys will stay?
I actually think, and this is something that I think we'll notice in the next year or two, I think we're seeing a slow shift back to maybe not high school first recruiting, but more high school focused recruiting from a lot of these schools. Frankly, the numbers in high school have gotten a little out of control from an NIL standpoint, and I don't know how viable long-term that'll be. I think it really depends on how the market follows for transfers this December, and I'm of the opinion the market probably will follow because the agents are the same people and they know exactly what their high school athletes are getting. And if that is proven correct, right, and if the transfer numbers follow, then I think the value does come from high school, because retention is still easier to do if they're already on your roster. You don't get quite the retention discount that you used to, but it still matters. Having these elite players in your roster still matters. And I think some schools like Texas A&M, like Notre Dame, and Notre Dame's a different category because they just have to recruit differently than other people, like USC, have pivoted back to the high school first model. And teams like Georgia never left, obviously. So I do think there's a viable argument to be made that high school recruiting long-term will pay off, but it just really depends on like how the transfer and portal market falls in terms of those kind of costs. Because if the transfer portal market remains the same, teams like Texas A&M are way overpaying, but I think they're betting that that won't be the case in December and January.
It's fascinating stuff, man. It's just part of the world in which we live right now in college athletics, and this is a really fascinating deep dive from Chris Hummer and John Talty over at CBS Sports and 24/7. So make sure you go get over there, give it a read. I'll make sure I retweet it as well, so if you follow me, you can get it easily on a retweet. You can follow Chris at Chris_Hummer, at Chris_Hummer. Great stuff, man. We appreciate the time. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yep, it's our pleasure. It's After Further Review. Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020. You want to see 2020, call 924-2020. Remember, there's alternatives to LASIK. We talk about LASIK all the time, and I had LASIK 8 years ago, and still I'm coming up on my anniversary. As a matter of fact, it was September 11th when I had my LASIK. Coming up on 9 years. Oh man. But anyway, 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. LASIK is an option, but for everybody, LASIK isn't an option. So that's why there's things like the EVO ICL. The ICL is the implantable contact lens. So if you're nearsighted, but you're not a candidate for LASIK, maybe the EVO ICL is the best option for you, where they implant a contact lens. The procedure is completely reversible, and it's remarkable. My point is, no matter your age or your refractive issue, there is a way that you can see with perfect 20/20 or better than 20/20 vision. And the Williamson Eye Center makes that happen for people in our community every single day. So call 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com, Williamson, EYE.com. This is a really interesting piece by Chris and John, and I'm going to dive into this a little more deeply in about a half an hour, because I want to give you my takeaways on this roster spend piece. So we're gonna get to that a bit later. The LSU football team is going to be on the practice field this evening. So when I leave here today, I'm going straight over to the Ponderosa. We'll have a practice report tonight as well. And the Saints are about 30 minutes into their workout out in California, their joint workout with the Cowboys. If anything notable comes out of that from those covering the workout, we'll certainly have it for you as well. We're halfway home here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Quick break. When we come back, the preseason AP All-America team is out, and it's always fun to see your team's players represented. But there's actually something that I think is a deeper illustration of this argument between the SEC and the Big Ten for dominance in college football that I want to talk about. We'll do that next on AFR.
AFR.
Man, at Clegg's Nursery, of course, they have full greenhouses every single day for the flowers and the plants and the trees and the shrubs and the bag and the bulk, soil, mulch, whatever you need, outdoor decor. They got all of it over at Clegg's Nursery. But it is also coming upon deer season. And if you're a deer hunter, you know you're putting out your plots right now. Make sure before you head out to the camp to put out your plots, you pop on into Clegg's Nursery, because they have what you need. They've got buck busters and they've got mow bucks in right now at all 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. Siegen Air Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Mow bucks is in at all 4 locations, and they also have the triple cleaned corn right now at all 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. They got buck busters. They've been having that in. So get on by and see our friends at Clegg's Nursery.
People ask why I chose to partner with Parrish. The answer is simple: trust. Whether you're choosing teammates, business partners, or the people working on your home or business, choose a company you know and trust. Visit parrishbuilt.com.
I've been in banking for over 35 years. I usually start about 7:30 in the morning, and I usually leave somewhere around 5, or if customers need me to meet them at their house or their business places, I don't mind going after hours. I have done churches, subdivisions, retail centers, hospitals, and nursing homes. And that's why we chose to live in this community, because of the values First American Bank has, that I can serve my community and my customers.
At Southern Classic Chicken, we take pride in serving the freshest, seasoned, and marinated hand-breaded fried chicken. Drive through today and pick up a family box or one of our classic combos and enjoy a true Southern Classic. Order online and download our loyalty app to start earning those crispy and juicy rewards. Loyalty matters.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new Ram 1500 truck on our lot now with $22,000 off MSRP.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, rolling along here in hour number 2. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. The preseason AP All-American team came out here on Tuesday, and there were 3 Tigers honored. Trades was a first-teamer. Then Jordan Seaton and Ty Benefield were second-teamers. CBS Sports also put out its preseason All-America team. And notably, the SEC led the way with 15 first-teamers. Remember, there are 22 first-team All-Americans. Well, I guess 25, whenever you consider special teams. And the SEC had 15 first-teamers, 25 overall selections. The Big Ten was next with half as many total honorees. With a dozen. You know, I know we've had this conversation of the Big Ten and the SEC, and some of it is, quite honestly, just arbitrary. Like, it doesn't really matter for anything. But the reason why I think it is worth continuing to have has nothing really to do with fans of teams in different conferences going back and forth on Twitter or whatever the case may be. It's because of the thing that I always complain about with college football. It's the only sport in the history of mankind where subjectivity matters, where you can win every game you play and not even have a chance to play for a championship, which is fundamentally stupid. Where the opinions of a bunch of self-important goons in a hotel ballroom in suburban Dallas means more than results on the field. Florida State can win every single game it plays, win the ACC, but because their quarterback got hurt, these goons in a ballroom determined, they don't deserve a shot. But they won every game they played. Yeah, but we don't think they're any good anymore. But they won every game they played. Yeah, but the quarterback meant a lot. But they won every game they played. It shouldn't matter. You should have the opportunity to go play games to determine who the winner is. That's the point of sports and a meritocracy. So as long as we exist in this culture of college football, which the day is coming when this will end. But as long as the day still exists where people's opinions matter when it comes to crowning champions, then yes, how people perceive your league matters. Like, the fact that nobody respects the ACC is why Duke, the ACC champion, didn't get in last year. Yeah, but they lost 4 games. I get it, but they won a Power 4 league. Yeah, who did they play? They won a Power 4 league, but they lost 4 games. But they won a Power 4 league. What matters more? The opinion of the people in the room who think the ACC sucks. And I may think the ACC sucks as well as you, but they won a Power 4 league. Do you understand my point? So until we get to the point, which we will get there one day, where we actually care more about the results on the field than the opinion of the people in the room, the opinion of the people in the room matters. Ask Vanderbilt last year, who went 10-2 and didn't make the playoff. Or 2 years ago, when we looked at Bama and South Carolina, and who was the other one that was 9-3 out from the SEC that didn't get it? Ole Miss, that didn't get in at 9-3. Why do you think Lane Kiffin complains all the time about this, about the schedule, and about the perception of numbers? Because all the committee looks at is the second number in the win-loss record. So perception matters. But like if you look at the Big Ten and the SEC just from a year ago, just go down the list. Like if you look at the final rankings from a year ago, right? You had Ole Miss, Georgia, A&M, Alabama were all 7-1 in the league. Texas, Oklahoma, Vanderbilt were all 6-2. Missouri, Tennessee, 4-4. LSU was 3-5. Kentucky and Florida were 2-6. Auburn State, South Carolina, and then Arkansas was 0-8. So with the Big Ten, you'd have to draw a line at the bottom because Maryland and Purdue are number 17 and 18, and the SEC's got 16. So if you went like Indiana, Ole Miss, probably been a good game, but you favor Indiana. Ohio State against Georgia. Pretty good matchup, neutral field. I don't know. I think you play the game 10 times, you could split it 5-5. Oregon against Texas A&M, most of us would probably pick Oregon in that game a season ago. Then you get to where, like, after those top three, it really heavily starts to shift. Southern Cal against Bama, I think we know how that would go. Michigan against Texas, I think we'd favor Texas in that game a year ago. Iowa against Oklahoma, boy, what a defensive slugfest that would be. Washington against Vanderbilt, like Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt going 10-2 last year was really impressive. I'd probably take Vanderbilt in that game. Illinois against Missouri, evenly matched. Might favor Illinois. I don't see how that would go. But like Minnesota against Tennessee, you're leaning Tennessee. Nebraska against LSU, you're probably leaning LSU. Northwestern against Kentucky. You see my point? Like, you get into the mix where at the top, yeah, I think Indiana would have beaten anybody in college football last year. And I think Ohio State last year and Georgia, that could have been a coin flip game. And then Oregon probably favored against A&M. Well, two of those three had favored the Big Ten school, and the other was a coin flip. But when you get to everything after that is where we're talking about the depth and the strength of the league. And that's where things like this play out. When you go, okay, like preseason All-America team, the SEC had 15. The SEC had more first teamers than the Big Ten had overall. Look at the draft. The SEC had 87. The Big Ten had 68. Big drop off. ACC and Big 12 each had 38. And the Big Ten has two more teams. So I think the thing that all of these metrics keep proving that is inarguable, like, because again, this is objective data. Like, this is the NFL drafted 87 SEC players. They drafted 68 Big Ten players. Like, that is objective data, right? The depth in the SEC is better than the depth in the Big Ten. That is an inarguable fact. The top of the Big Ten, the top three, last year, Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon. Like, they could certainly challenge the top three in the SEC. We'll see how that may shake out this year. Maybe not. Like, maybe Georgia ends up being awesome, or maybe Texas ends up becoming a juggernaut this season. Like, who knows? Maybe it's LSU. But I think that's where we're drawing this very clear line, where, yes, the Big Ten has asserted themselves at the top of their league, but the rest of it is not very good. The SEC has compressed a lot toward the middle. I mean, yeah, you got Arkansas down there at 0-8, but like a 2-6 Florida team last year, or a 1-7 South Carolina team with Lenora Sellers and Dylan Stewart, like, That's not a layup to go to Williams-Brice. When you look at the bottom of the Big Ten with like Maryland and Purdue, there's not a team in the SEC last year that would have lost to either of those teams on the road. That's the difference right now between these two leagues. And that's why having this conversation continues to matter as long as the opinions of the self-important dopes in the hotel ballroom in suburban Dallas debating things like defensive efficiency metrics and game control continues to matter. But hopefully, we're soon going to have a 24-team playoff, and this conversation won't matter a lick anymore because we'll actually get to go play games on the field and determine a real champion by playing games on the field. We're getting there, y'all. As collectively as college football, we're getting there. We're getting closer. Y'all push back against 2. Y'all push back against 4. Y'all push back against 12. It ain't done nothing but help college football. More people watch. Ratings are up. Revenues are up. Interest is up. Everything's up. Because lo and behold, actually playing more games competitively with real stakes on the line is something people actually care to see. Novel thought. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. 9 different IIHS top safety picks. The highest safety designation you could possibly earn. And every single Volkswagen model earns it. Why? Because the great German engineering focused on safety features and manufactured right here in the good old US of A at their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant. So you're buying a great vehicle, a safe vehicle, an affordable vehicle, and supporting American jobs. South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. How about $1,500 customer bonus on 2026 Jetta right now at South Point Volkswagen? Airline just north of Highland or SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay, y'all, it's After Further Review. We're going to knock out a quick break. Come back. Jordyn will do Tigers and the Pros for us. Looking forward to that. Also, I do want to, after the top of the hour in about 15 minutes, I'll circle back to the conversation we just had with Chris Hummer about college football's most expensive rosters because I have some takeaways. I want to weigh in on that. We'll get to it. Some more of what Lane Kiffin had to say when he met with reporters a day ago that we missed. Some updates from Saints practice out in California. A lot to get to. Otter locks in an hour from right now. Ton to do and glad you're here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you're a business owner and you need your business to be the most efficient, productive, profitable it can be, you have to have the right people. It's that simple. Sometimes it's not about getting, more people or putting more responsibility on one person. It's about having the right people to make your business the most efficient it can be. If you need the right people and you're having trouble finding the right people for that hard-to-find job, or hard-to-fill job, Glow Resources can help. GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. Look, home base is right there on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge next to Pennington at the corner of Perkins and Quail Oak. Gorgeous facility. Highly recommend you go in there and meet them. It's a beautiful, just to walk around the building. It's gorgeous. But they help businesses quite literally all over the world. So if your business needs the right people, you need Glow Resources to help you find them. GLO, glowresources.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
Supper Club is back open tonight. Come on, y'all. Every Tuesday through Saturday, you want the best dining experience, not only in Baton Rouge and the state of Louisiana, maybe anywhere you'll ever find. Walking the face of planet Earth. That might sound like hyperbole, but we're talking about quite literally certain beef choices and steak choices that chef curates that you can't find anywhere else in Louisiana. Like we talk about the Omi beef. There's like 2 restaurants in the country that have access to sell the Japanese Omi beef. And Chef Leighton Carbo always goes to great lengths to find new, exciting, different things to bring on as features to the menu. So I highly recommend you go on a Supper Club, look at the menu. But if you love steak like I love steak, say, Chef, does Chef have anything off menu tonight? Any new cool features he's brought in? Maybe what's the Sagrera cut tonight? So many different ways you can go have a different experience every time you go in a Supper Club. Get your reservation at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Always shout out to our friends over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Remember, Sunshine, yes, they got tractors and mowers, zero-turn mowers and gators and all that sort of stuff, but they also have like portable generators and fans and different stuff like that. If you're starting to plan your tailgate for September the 5th, get on by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. All right, Jordyn has the honors today. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, let's kick this bad boy off with Hunt's favorite player, Alex Bregman. He went 3 for 4 last night with 1 walk as the Cubs beat down the White Sox 7-5. On the season, Bregman is batting .255 average, 16 home runs, and 61 RBIs. Tommy White went 1 for 3 yesterday, 1 home run.
He homered on Sunday, Jordyn. He homered again yesterday?
Yeah, he homered again. Went back to back.
So back-to-back days.
Yeah, back-to-back, yes.
You're positive?
I'm positive.
Okay.
I'm very positive. So Tommy White went 1 for 3, 1 home run, 1 RBI.
I'm fact-checking you, bro. I'm fact-checking.
Yeah, I promise you.
Okay, I hope you're right.
As the Royals beat the A's.
I'm fact-checking you.
He went, on the season right now, Tommy's batting .267, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. Did we get that fact check?
Okay.
Cam Sanders, 2 innings pitched with 3 Ks as the Rays beat the Orioles. Yeah, he's on the Orioles now. They got an update on the website. He on the season, he has a 5.6 ERA with 22 Ks. And last but not least, Hunter Fiducia on the Dodgers. He goes 0 for 4 with 1 walk as the Dodgers, they played the Rockets. They crushed them 11-5. But on the season, Fiducia is batting .234, 3 home runs, and 13 RBIs. And that is Tigers in the pros.
Nothing from the NFL?
Jamal Adams is hurt.
Or did that yesterday?
Odell.
We got nothing. There's only like 75 LSU players in the NFL. Nobody did anything?
Not that I know of that I saw from practice. No, not that. In the WNBA, only 1 game happened yesterday. So trust me, I tried to go find
schedule tonight.
I know Angel Reese and Flau'jae play tonight.
Oh, that would have been good to mention.
But hey, everybody, they play tonight. They play tonight.
What are we doing over there, Jordyn?
We watching baseball. I tried to find some golf. No golf going on. I'm not a big golf guy. There's no golf right now. I guess it's Thursday through the weekend.
Jimmy.
Yeah, Well, if I'm asking Jimmy, I'm probably gonna get some horse bets. Need some horse bets.
He knows about golf though. Max knows about golf.
Yeah, Max is the golf guy. Max the golf guy.
Tell Jimmy that Max is the golf guy.
Oh, Jimmy knows he's not good at golf. He'll tell you he sucks. But that's it for Tyson the Pros.
All right. Presented by Our Lady of the Lake. Championship Health Partner of LSU Athletics. FMOLhealth.org/LSU. FMOLhealth.org/LSU. That's where you can learn more about the Championship Health Partnership. Man, really excited. I actually got a sneak peek at one of the TV commercials for the fall with and Lane Kiffin is in it as well. One of the OLOL commercials featuring a lot of the LSU guys. Trey Dez is in it. He towers over one of the doctors in the commercial, which is just hilarious. But it's really cool to see that that partnership come to life. It's such a huge thing for FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, their championship health partnership with LSU Athletics, but also with LSU, the Health Science Center as well, and everyday champions like you and me. It's Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. Learn more at fmolhealth.org/LSU, fmolhealth.org/LSU. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. 2 hours down, 1 hour to go. If you missed anything, Shea Dixon was here in hour one talking some Cruton. We had Chris Hummer from CBS Sports about half an hour ago. When we come back after SportsCenter, that piece from Chris Hummer, they rank college football's most expensive rosters, and I have some takeaways from it. There's some parallels that you might find interesting and one outlier. We'll talk about it coming up next on AFR.
AFR.
It's storm season, y'all, and it rains darn near every single day. If you've got issues with your roof, we would love to help you out at Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com, ParrishBuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. That's me and Terrio and Richard Tilley, our great staff, and, of course, our new partner, Pro Football Hall of Famer Drew Brees, ParrishBuilt.com, ParrishBuilt.com. Go to the website, fill out the form on the homepage. And sometimes people say, hey, man, I don't know if Parrish can do this job. It's like a small repair. Yes, we will. It doesn't matter how small the repair is. And quite honestly, it doesn't matter how big the roof repair or replacement might be. Our commercial division is massive. Matt Pearson, our commercial roofing manager, we hired him from Florida a few years ago because dude knows everything there is to know about roofs, and he's awesome. And we do things like gutters, where we fabricate our own gutters. And we do soft wash, your home, your roof, your hardscape. We can do it all. Go to ParrishBuilt.com, fill out the form on the homepage. Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing, ParrishBuilt.com.
My name is Mike Krumholt, and I've been with First American Bank for 4 years. What makes First American Bank special is we're able to offer all the products and services that any other big bank can offer. What sets us apart is being able to give that small town feel that someone can pick up the phone and they can talk to someone or stop by the branch and get excellent customer service.
People think it's all about game day. Let's go! But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts, extra reps.
And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
So we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Raising Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread, garlic buttered spread, grilled to golden perfection.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm John Ryder. The Buss family reiterated their intention to sell their remaining shares in the Lakers, saying in a statement, 5 of the 6 members of the Buss Trust are, quote, united in the decision, reports ESPN's Sham Charania. The New York Giants are signing former Steelers running back Najee Harris to a 1-year deal. They've released receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. Some think it will be a down season for the Buccaneers, but quarterback Baker Mayfield thinks otherwise.
You get your guys, it's just the Bucs against everybody else in that city you're going to. And so I think it's a good opportunity for us against the Bengals. And I think we're going to shock a lot of people this year. And so I'm excited to just get on the road and do that.
Tampa Bay opens the season on Sunday, September 13th at Cincinnati. Jets running back Breece Hall will miss the rest of the preseason with a strained groin, but he is expected to be back for Week 1 against the Titans. College football, North Carolina has named Wisconsin transfer Billy Edwards as their starting quarterback for their opener against TCU. The game will be played in Ireland on Saturday, August 29th. You can watch the game on ESPN.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
I don't even want to do the regular open because Jordan Kitchens just said the dumbest thing that has ever been uttered in this studio. That's remarkable. Jordan Kitchens just said Patrick Mahomes is an underdog compared to Baker Mayfield. Don't let me put words in your mouth. That's what you just said? That's what you just said.
To an extent.
No.
To an extent.
Paul, you were sitting in the room. You heard what he just said.
Yes.
Did he just say Patrick Mahomes is an underdog compared to Baker Mayfield?
He did, yes.
I had the context.
Case in point, why not everybody needs a microphone.
We need context.
I want you to turn off your mic, go sit in a corner and face the wall for 10 minutes. That is unbelievable,
I need some
Jordan.
context. There was context to what I said. There was context.
You just said Patrick Mahomes is an underdog compared to Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. Baker was the number 1 pick. Mahomes was like the 11th pick. So, I mean, Baker
Patrick Mahomes has won 3 Super Bowls and played in 6. What the hell are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about coming into the NFL.
I'm not talking about coming into the NFL. I'm
that's
talking
what I
about
was
right now
saying.
because you just said about going into this year. Turn the stupid music off.
Okay.
You just said because we're listening to the Sports Center top of the hour. They played a quote from Baker where he's talking about them being an underdog and kind of overlooked this year. Like, he's coming off injury. They slumped at the second half of last year. That's what he's talking about. There's no reality where you can say in any sense that Patrick Mahomes is an underdog compared to Baker Mayfield. What are you talking about? Sometimes hot takes for the sake of having hot takes ain't a good thing, Jordan.
All I was saying was...
I said go stand in the corner and face the wall.
I just want to get, for the people, the conversation was, Baker Mayfield came on the air. Oh, yeah, we got the chip on our shoulder this year. I'm like, all right, you know what?
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Chip on the shoulder. I just said that, Jordan.
Yeah, you're right. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired of the underdog gimmick from the number 1 pick. And he was like, oh.
And I said Jamarcus was the number 1 pick and Zach Wilson was the number 2 pick. And sometimes, it doesn't matter where you drafted, you suck for a little while, and then people count you out.
Man.
Mitchell Trubisky. Was he number 2 or number 3 pick in the draft? When
you drafted way too high. I think it was like number 2 because it was before Deshaun Watson and Mahomes.
How's Pelican Scoop going?
Matter of fact, last video, 1,000 views.
That'll be. Y'all go follow Jordan Pelican Scoop on YouTube. All right. Where you'll get hot takes like Patrick Mahomes is an underdog compared to Baker. Just stand against the wall. I told you to go stand against the wall.
My mic's off.
Stand against the wall. Jesus. I don't even know how to recover from that. That's one of the... And T-Bob sat in this studio. And I still think that's the dumbest thing that's ever been said in this studio. Man's won 3 Super Bowls, played in 6 of them. And George saying he's an underdog compared to Baker. Okay. Yes, you did. Chris Hummer and John Talty at CBS Sports put together a list. They polled 50-plus industry insiders, GMs, player personnel directors, coaches, etc., to put together a list of the most expensive rosters in college football. And a lot of it is kind of what you would expect. Now, what I thought was really interesting is they have LSU at the top. Now, that really is should be no surprise. And I told you when Chris was here, and I told him point blank that this LSU roster, a lot of people said $40 million. This LSU roster is over $50 million. And it will be the first $50 million roster in college football, according to Chris. But the way that they sort of broke it down was into buckets. So, like, it was rosters over $40 million is the first sort of bucket that they put in. And naturally, LSU was in there. But here's what was interesting, what I found. There was 7 teams that they have spending more than $40 million, and another 5 that are just a tick below it, is kind of how he described it. The 7 spending more than $40 million this year: LSU, Miami, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, and Texas A&M. Those are the 7. Like, just a tick below that, Georgia, Michigan, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Southern Cal. So those are the 12. This is the part that I think is interesting because LSU is the outlier on this list in this way. Preseason number 1's Ohio State. They're on the list. Preseason number 2 is Oregon. They're on the list, above $40 million. Number 3 is Georgia, and they're the first team listed as just below $40 million. So they're right there on the cusp, but they're there. Number 4 is Notre Dame. They're on the list. Number 5 is Texas. They're on the list. Number 6 is Indiana, who's not on the list. Number 7 is Miami, on the list. Number 8, Texas A&M. They're on the list. So Indiana, not making the list at preseason number 6 in the country and not on this list, is a bit of an outlier. The other is LSU, because LSU is the lowest ranked team on the list of the most expensive rosters. And they're not only on the list, they're at the top of the list of the most expensive rosters. Yet of that list, they're the lowest ranked teams by the pollsters. So it kind of begs the question, why? And I don't know that I have a great answer to that question, because LSU a year ago proved just throwing money at a roster doesn't mean you're going to win. Because LSU spent $18 million on the roster last year. And you could say, well, 18 is not 50. I get it. But 18 a year ago put LSU among the most expensive rosters in college football a year ago. But what you keep seeing year over year is like 100% increases in roster spend. So that's when people keep saying it's not sustainable. Well, I agree. Like, LSU's not going to spend $100 million next year. You're not going to see another 100% increase. But as I look at the roster spend in the rank, it's true, you could spend a lot of money, but when Patrick Payton and Jack Pyburn and Jamari Butler combine for single-digit sacks, and that's where you put a lot of money in edge rushers, that's a problem, right? Now you hit, clearly, on Mansour Delane. But you spent a lot of money on Nick Anderson and Barron Brown, and those guys, Barron Brown was your leading receiver, but your passing offense was not any good. You understand the point, is that you spent a lot of money, but you misevaluated. So you have to spend the money and evaluate correctly. So when I look at some of LSU's biggest ticket items, by the way, they say the biggest price tag was Jordyn Seaton. Now, I don't know if that's true, because I think Sam Leavitt actually, the way that I understand Leavitt's contract is structured, will be more than Jordyn Seaton if he plays the full season. I think there are some protections, as I understand it, in Leavitt's contract to where, like, if he does get hurt and doesn't play a full season, the number may be lower. But if Levitt plays a full season, I think he will be the biggest price tag on the roster. Seton right there. And then you have other seven-figure players. Prince Willem Miel, I think it's been reported right at $1 million maybe. But you can understand why, if you get 3 of the top 5 ranked players in the portal, and it's a quarterback, an edge rusher, and a left tackle, those are going to be really expensive guys. So I don't worry as much about LSU this year missing on some of those portal players because you're getting guys that have already produced and are proven to have produced at the highest level. So I look at this and I just say, man, if you look at the odds makers, like DraftKings has LSU with the 8th best national championship odds. FPI has LSU ranked preseason number 9. SP Plus has LSU preseason number 10. The AP has them 11. The coaches have them 13. And so if you're tap dancing right around that 9 through 13 range, but you spent the most on your roster, like even in that 8, 9, 10, 11 range, take the coaches out who have them 13, even in that 8, 9, 10, 11 range, you're still one of the top 12 teams in the country, means you're in the playoff. So I understand that when we look at Vegas projected win totals, over, under 8.5, whatever, that's not going to get you in the playoff. And I understand also that Lane Kiffin at times in this offseason has tried to temper expectations in year one. What I'm saying is there ain't no tempering expectations. Like, all the other teams on this list, we all expect come December, they're going to hear their name called to be in the playoffs. Now, I get it. Miami plays in a crappy league, and they're going to run away with a crappy league, and they're going to make it. And Notre Dame plays a laughable schedule, and they're probably going to go 11-1 or 12-0, and they're going to make it. But Ohio State and Oregon and Texas A&M, all those teams expect to be in the college football playoff again. And then that next tier, Georgia, Michigan, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Southern Cal, they're all spending like they expect to be there as well. And LSU has outspent all of them. And you got the number 1 quarterback in the portal and the number 1 left tackle, and you got the number 1 edge rusher, and then you retained your top-tier tight end, running back, cornerback, center, senior linebacker. You brought in the SEC's leading tackler. You brought in a potential All-American at safety. Like, I don't care what your schedule looks like. There is no excuse with this roster spend and with relative to the other programs that have spent accordingly, as you have, there's no excuse not to be in the playoff this year, in a 12-team playoff. Now, I'm not saying you got to win the national championship because, as I'll continue to say and will always say, your draw matters. 2 years ago, Oregon was the only undefeated team in college football. They beat Ohio State in the regular season. And then they drew Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, and Ohio State got another swing at them. Sound familiar, LSU fans? It sucks, but that's the way the draw went. And they lost. So I'm not going to predict a championship because it's impossible to do that without knowing what your playoff draw looks like. I mean, what if LSU makes the playoff as a 10 seed, but then has to go play in the snow at Ohio State in the first round? Or in the snow in South Bend in December when it's 4 degrees. Like, that's a really crappy draw. Now, what if you had to go play a first-round game against Miami down in Coral Gables? Okay, that doesn't seem as bad. Miami's got a really good roster, but I'd rather play a game in Miami than in South Bend in December. I just think that's got to be the expectation. It's got to be. Like, you spend $50 million on the roster. You spend $91 million on your coach. You give him every single resource and staff that he wants. You better be one of the 12 teams that hears their name called in December. All right, it's after further review. Agree, disagree? Let me know your thoughts. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens. Jim Wardworth and the gang do a great job, man. You can always get that free quote online, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Just fill out the form on the homepage. They'll give you a ring. They'll let you know what it'll cost. It's cost-effective. It's effective. It's efficient as well. They can fog your home in half a day. Standard-size home, they can fog your home in half a day. They'll come in. They have the Sprinter vans with like the hoses that are coiled in the van. So they open up the back, they pull the hose out, they just walk right through your home and then spray the fog. it's a fog. It gets into every nook and cranny. It touches everything. They close up the windows and the doors. They let it dwell. It kills everything down to the spores. And boom, as soon as the fog dissipates, you're back in free, clear, clean, smelling. And remember, it's patented non-toxic dry fog. Non-toxic meaning it's safe for your family, for your pets, for your plants. And it's a dry fog. So you don't have to worry about it damaging your furniture, your carpet, or you're not cutting sheetrock or anything like that. You want to get rid of mold? You want Parish Restoration. ParishRestoration.com. All right, it's after further review. LSU will hit the practice field coming up here in right in about an hour. Media does have access and availability here this evening to the workout for our customary, 2 or 3 periods, whatever it'll be. So I'll jet out of here and head over to the Ponderosa. We'll see what Lane Kiffin's squad is working on, whatever they let us see. And then I will get you a Locked On LSU practice report after, and we'll have it up at LouisianaSports.net as well. So make sure you read LouisianaSports.net. If you wouldn't mind, I appreciate it. Go subscribe to the Locked On LSU podcast or YouTube. I appreciate it. All right, let me knock out a quick break. One other quick note. I'm keeping an eye on anything that might come out of California with the Saints joint practices right now with Cowboys out in Oxnard. So if we get anything while we're on air, we'll certainly pass it along to you. One thing Lane Kiffin talked about a day ago when he met with reporters that we didn't get a chance to get to yesterday is the third phase. And we haven't talked really much at all about special teams, but I'm going to do it next and why that's another reason you should be optimistic about this season. Stay here at AFR.
After further review.
Want to feel your best? Our friends at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness can help. YourGoodwood.com, YourGoodwood.com, YourGoodwood.com. I practice what I preach. I take peptides, and they have been transformational for me. NAD Plus is something that is part of my daily regimen. You want to talk about basically at the cellular level, making your body younger and increasing energy levels. Learn more about NAD Plus and what that can mean for you. I do an injection of NAD Plus every single morning. I tell you about BPC 157. I had my appendectomy 2 Fridays ago. I inject my BPC 157 muscle tissue repair near the site of my incisions to help accelerate recovery. I practice what I preach, y'all. Hormone replacement therapy, it's been transformative. It can help you as well. Call Gabe. Go schedule your consult over there at Goodwood. YourGoodwood.com, YourGoodwood.com, YourGoodwood.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no 2 cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are...
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, Jimmy will be here in about 25 minutes for Auto Locks. They are posted right now over at LouisianaSports.net if you want to get them. Remember, everything always free at LouisianaSports.net. Thanks for reading, man. And everyone who's bookmarked it and gone to the site. Traffic has been awesome. We just keep raising the floor, and it's been something that we're really proud of, and we hope that you're enjoying all the content over at LouisianaSports.net. We have spent a lot of time talking about how we anticipate Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weis improving the LSU offense. And we have spent a lot of time talking about how important it was for Blake Baker and that defensive staff to be retained and the guys they've added on defense as well. We have spent virtually no time talking about special teams. And part of it is because we don't get to see special teams, like, at all. In the practice availability that we have, there was even a day last week where, because we have such a limited viewing period, 12, 15 minutes, and it's all individual drills, and the defense is, they're hitting sleds and, running around cones. And they're not doing football stuff. And if Hunt's over there charting quarterback and receiver pitch and catch throws, well, I'm like, well, it was one day I'm going to go watch specialists. I'm going to go chart field goals and PATs for the 15 minutes that we get. So I'll walk over to the far field, and the kickers have the ball, not on a tee, the ball just like on the ground, just flat on the ground, and they're doing leg swipes. Like they're doing their leg swing motion, but they're not actually kicking the ball. I'm like, I think Lane Kiffin is just trolling us. Like, he is hell-bent on us seeing nothing for the 12 minutes we're out there. So we have talked no special teams. I could go through my notes and tell you who was back there in the spring returning kicks and punts. Certainly believe Scott Starzik, the Arkansas transfer, is going to be your place kicker. And Grant Chadwick, the Middle Tennessee transfer, is going to be your punter. Like, that's done. Returners, again, like, it's a little ambiguous. We'll see how it all shakes out. But Lane Kiffin was asked when he met with reporters after Monday's practice about special teams and the opportunities there for guys. And he was also asked about starters participating in special teams as well.
Yeah, all starters are available. We always look at, what's the difference between them and the next guy. Because ideally you'd like it not to be, so you create more roles and less play counts come off. And also part of punt is having a great gunner, which we did last year. We played a receiver that was lights out at gunner that forced a lot of fair catches. So it all goes together. We just always kind of look outside the box for ideas.
At the risk of getting you really excited about special teams, I'm going to share something with you that I found today that many of you might have seen, but I found it today. And it's got me really encouraged. So when Brian Kelly showed up in Baton Rouge, we all know this. Like, one of the biggest mistakes he made was not retaining Greg McMahon. It was a cataclysmic failure on special teams. There's a special teams efficiency metric. Just think take all of the special teams units, throw it in a pot, stir it up, spit out a number to say how good you were collectively in all the special teams units. That's special teams efficiency ranking. Just trust me, it's something people use. In Brian Kelly's first year, LSU was 122nd in the country in special teams efficiency. Remember Greg Clayton just fair catching everything because he was the only guy that could catch the ball? They never even attempted to return a punt. They went from 122 to 75th to 37th to last year LSU was 28th. So, to Kelly's credit, it was a disaster initially, but they kept putting more emphasis on it. They got better. So, it went from 122 to 75 to 37 to 28 last year. SP Plus is a metric that I like to look at, and it looks at returning production, who you added, all that sort of stuff. And so they give you like an offensive rating, a defensive rating, and a special teams rating. Well, SP Plus has LSU going into this season, into 2026, 53rd in special teams. 5-3, 53rd. And I get it, right? You're losing the leading scorer in program history in Damian Ramos. You're going to have a new kicker in Scott Starzik. You brought in a new punter in Chadwick. You're losing all of your returners from a year ago. So, you have a lot of new there. You want to take a guess what team SP Plus has ranked number 1 in the country going into this season in special teams? You want to guess? Jordan, you want to guess?
Ohio State.
No, this is a leading question, okay?
Okay. Georgia. Oh, I don't know what that means.
What a leading question means?
Yeah.
It means I'm leading you to a very obvious answer.
Oh, LSU.
I just said they're 53rd, Jordan.
Oh, well.
Stop it. Go away. Paul. If I were to tell you there's a team that's number 1 in the country this year, preseason, SP Plus, and special teams efficiency, who do you think that might be? It would be really relevant to LSU considering who their coach is right now.
Ole Miss?
Ole Miss. Thank you. Woo! Gents. Yes, Ole Miss. Ole Miss's special teams efficiency ranking last season was 5th. They were 5th in the country in special teams efficiency ranking. And SP Plus has them number 1 preseason right now. Do you know who Ole Miss's special teams coordinator was last season? I'm not going to ask you, Jordan, because I know you don't know the answer. It's okay. You can take a breath. It's Joe Houston. Do you know who LSU's special teams coordinator is now, Jordan?
Joe Houston.
It is Joe Houston. Hot damn. A point is, and by the way, I'll tell you this, I don't mind sharing this with you candidly. At the LSU NIL gala they had a few months back at the indoor facility, Erica and I went, and they sat us at a table with several of the coaches. I literally sat next to Joe Houston at this event and talked to him for an hour or whatever. Joe Houston, he's got an amazing story, first of all, of how he was like working in JUCO and delivering pizzas to make ends meet. You want to talk about like a dude who wants it badly. Fast forward, he ends up getting hired by Bill Belichick with the Patriots, okay? Like, brilliant dude, great coach, and clearly the track record is there now. He'd worked with Saban in Alabama, worked with Belichick with the Patriots, and Lane hired him at Ole Miss. And the numbers are very obvious. That guy is now your special teams coordinator. I don't know who's going to return kicks and punts. Quite honestly, I don't care. What I know is if Joe Houston's running your special teams, you're going to be good on special teams. And SP Plus has LSU 53rd in the country in special teams at the beginning of the season here. I'm going to go ahead and take a wild guess as to say they're going to finish a hell of a lot better than that. We talk a lot about offense and defense. We have not talked a lot about special teams because we don't get to see it. I'm just here to tell you, LSU's got a special teams ace coaching that third phase. The same guys that went in the portal and got Chadwick and got Scott Starzik, got Hayden Craig. I mean, now I know Houston was at Florida. Joe Houston spent time in Florida. So, and forgive me, Joe Houston was at Florida last year. I screwed that up. My bad. Sorry, Jordan. That's a hell of a leading question. But you got a dude that is a really, really good special teams coordinator who's got track record of being a special teams coordinator that I think is going to make LSU instantly better than they were a year ago in that third phase. So I'm excited to see, man. Of course, they brought in Hayden Craig. They brought in the long snapper, the punter as well from Florida with Joe Houston. The people they brought in, I think, are going to make that third phase of the game so much better. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. We're glad you're hanging out. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, our buddy Ross Jackson is out in Oxnard at Saints practice, and he is tweeting a few updates. We'll get to that as we continue. Thanks for hanging out with us here. It's AFR.
After further review.
Get Gordon. Get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Remember, the Get Gordon Billboard contest is going on right now. Go to getgordon.com/billboards, 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 and you can figure out how you can enter to win up to $2,000 in prizes. There's kids division. There's an adult division. Remember, no AI. They could disqualify you. They reserve the right to disqualify you if you use AI. But you can go enter right now to get all the info at getgordon.com/billboards, getgordon.com/billboards for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorney, their billboard design contest. Win up to $2,000 in prizes. And by the way, if you win, your billboard will be on the interstate somewhere. GetGordon.com/billboards. Get Gordon and get it done.
Another roof gone too soon. Looks like neglect. There's no doubt about it. This is a case of poor installation. At Pelican Roofing, we don't guess. We investigate to find the real cause of your roof's problems. Call Pelican Roofing for your free roof investigation today. Case closed.
Bayou Ford has 0% APR with no payments for 90 days and $1,000 down payment assistance on select 2026 Ford models.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office protects and serves over 132,000 residents across the parish.
Keeping our community safe is our mission, and Rev Fiber plays a critical role in how we respond. Whether it's training in our special divisions, forensics investigations, or fielding emergency calls in our operations center, Rev Business connects our teams in real time, which is why we partner with Rev Business.
Get 6 months free of Rev Business services. Call or click today.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you'll likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, Jimmy will be here for Honor Locks in 10 minutes. Good news from out at Saints practice. Ross Jackson, our guy from LouisianaSports.net, Locked on Saints, is out there. He did. I don't know if this is the great news. He did notice that practice is out of hand, approaching 10 fights and/or scuffles already. This is part of what happened. We had John Stinchcomb with us here yesterday, and I asked him why. And I'm like, why are there so many fights all the time at joint practices? And John's answer, I'll paraphrase, was, look, if you're practicing against your team and a guy's hand gets high in a face mask, you take him aside and you're like, hey, man, don't do that. When it's someone on another team and they do it to your teammate, you go after him, and then it gets contentious. So, like, you're just not going to be as aggressive with your teammates as you would an opponent. So it's pretty natural that this is what happens a lot of times. But Ross noted, I mean, his tweet is this practice is, I'm reading directly, this practice is out of hand, approaching 10 fights and/or scuffles already. That's not the key. Here is the key. A few notes from Ross. Devon Vele and Christian Miller are both there in Oxnard, but are not in uniform, so they're not participating. This, though, I think, is maybe the fantastic news. Ross Jackson notes that Kendre Miller and Devin Neal are in pads and both doing individual drills earlier. Audric Estime not participating. It is worth noting that Audric Estime played in the game on Saturday, so if you want to give Audric Estime a day off, some time to recover, okay. But we're looking at Kendre Miller as a former third-round pick and a guy that is trying to make this team and is probably swimming upstream right now to try to make the team. From the fact that you know that Travis Etienne Jr. is making the team, Alvin Kamara is making the team, and then, like, who's that third back? Well, Audric Estime has been really good, and Devin Neal used a draft pick on him. And if Kendre Miller misses more of camp with the back injury, like, I mean, what's the old line? You can't make the club from the tub? How do you make the team if you're not out there? So Kendre Miller being back out there today might just be a sign of him needing to be out there to try to make this team. A couple of other notes here from Ross, just reading through his tweets. He said Terrell Burgess is making his return as well. Lots of injury news for New Orleans for their joint practice against the Cowboys. So go follow along with Ross on Twitter at Ross Jackson NOLA. Ross is with us all throughout camp to give us the Saints training camp updates. But because they started practice at 4 Central, they're not going to be off the practice field before we're done today. So we'll hopefully get a report from Ross tomorrow, maybe before the Saints workout tomorrow out in California. Remember, of course, you can go listen to Ross or watch him on Locked on Saints, and you can read Ross for free over at LouisianaSports.net. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Remember, at First South Farm Credit, they also offer the patronage refund. That's something they've done every year for 3 decades, where it's effectively they're sharing their profits with their member borrowers, so that effectively lowers your cost of borrowing. Like, let's say you got it at a 5% rate. When you get your patronage refund, it's like you were actually borrowing at, say, 4%. So anyway, it's something you can ask about when you call our friends at First South Farm Credit. But another reason to do business with a great local company that's been around for more than 100 years doing one thing, helping Louisianians buy land. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. 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 Brian Shofan said, did y'all fire Musso? No, we did not fire Musso. Jordyn is filling in today. Musso went to the beach, so he'll be back tomorrow. I don't know, man. Going on a beach vacation in fall camp feels like a little bit of an aggressive play, but
extremely aggressive, actually.
Guy wanted to get one more little vacation in, I guess, before the season. But I mean,
no, it's extremely aggressive. And then to post the pictures at the beach, like, come on, man.
Well, if you're going to go to the beach, you're going to post the picture. That's the obligatory thing, right? You do the whole thing where it's the photo of your feet and like your drink.
Just drink, nice little drink.
The water's in the distance. You get the sand, the drink, and the water. It's never a face photo, right? It's just like, it's just the drink, and for me, it's like a cigar and the drink. And
look what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. The obligatory, if you need me, don't.
Yeah.
You know, like that's great in July.
Not in August.
Or June. August 18th, it's a tough scene for a guy. But no, he did not get fired. He's just, he's at the beach. And Andy said, please, God, don't let this be the Malik Neighbors punt returner jinx from 2022. So first of all, I don't believe in jinxes at all. Jinxes are not a real thing. But we did talk about, if what he's referring to is before that season, like LSU, I remember it well. Like I did a whole thing where I was like, congratulations to Malik Neighbors on being the next great punt returner or return man in LSU history. Because if you go all the way back to Eddie Kennison, or even before that, like with Todd Kinchin, like LSU's just always had a great athlete that catches the ball and runs. And you could go through it from Eddie Kennison to Kevin Falk to, I would just go through LeBrandon Tofield or Dominic Davis and Skylar Green and, you know, just all the way through the years, man. Chad Jones, Odell Beckham. I'm leaving guys, Tyron. They've just always had guys that could, it's LSU, man. Athlete, catch ball, and run. And so Malik was the guy that was going to be the punt returner. We know he muffed 2 against Florida State in that opener and never returned another punt again for his time at LSU. And so that's who he's referring to as the jinx. I don't think it's a jinx. I don't believe in jinxes. I just think Malik wasn't good at it, at catching the ball. That's why they put Gregory Clayton back there, because he was a guy who could just catch. They just said, hey, look, just fair catch, just catch the ball, that's it, and let the offense take over. But I'll tell you, one of the guys that it was interesting to watch in the spring, I can't give you a perspective now because we haven't seen it at all, like zero special teams in what we get to watch. But I would love to see Trey Wilson back there. The Florida transfer is a former 5-star, and I think they're going to use him in a lot of creative ways in this offense. You know, like if it's jet sweeps, bubbles, whatever, like, because he is that dynamic, explosive guy, like get the ball in space type guy. He just has a different gear than, it's very obvious. Like you don't need to know anything about football. Like you can just go out and watch and go, oh, well, that guy just runs different than everybody else. He just explodes. That's why he's a 5-star. But when they would put him back there in the spring, I mean, I remember one day in particular where he muffed 3 straight punts. And like, you just can't be back there if you can't catch the ball every time. It's more important to just catch the ball and give your offense a chance, especially when your offense is as explosive as we think this offense will be with Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss, et cetera, than to run the risk of muffing it. So I don't know, man. I don't know who's going to be back there. But if I can get an answer, I'll try to for you. All right, it's after further review. Good show today. We got Jimmy coming up for Otter Locks. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand is presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. We did talk a little bit about what the Saints receiving room looks like now without Jordyn Tyson for the next 5 weeks, next 2 months. Shea Dixon was here. Talked a little recruiting with Shea, as we always do. Chris Hummer was here in hour number 2 from CBS Sports. Talked about he and John Talty put together a list. They pulled some 50 front office, staff, coach, player, personnel people trying to get a sense of roster investments, the most expensive rosters in college football. Really interesting conversation. We reacted to that as well earlier this hour. We talked some special teams. I totally screwed up. Kept saying Joe Houston was coaching at Ole Miss. He wasn't coaching at Florida last year. But Ole Miss's special teams last year were ranked number 5 in the efficiency rating, and Florida was 17. I just looked it up. And Ole Miss on the SP Plus heading into this year is number 1 in the efficiency rating. So I think LSU is going to be just fine in the third phase as well. But they got to find somebody who can return. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us. One more, Michael on the text line said, Matt, from a comparison standpoint, what did Lane Kiffin's Ole Miss squad look like in salary or NIL spending last year? Well, this is the first $50 million roster anywhere. And a year ago, LSU spent 18. Now, I don't know what Ole Miss's total roster spend was a year ago. It was probably comparable to that. Ohio State last year, the word was like they had the highest roster spend, as they had nudged past $20 million on their roster a year ago. But it's why, so I mean, think Ole Miss was probably comparable to LSU a season ago. 15, 18 million is probably in that range. But it goes to show you why, man, having the right quarterback, healthy quarterback, makes a world of difference, man. You know, they had Austin Simmons who got hurt. Trinidad Chambliss stepped in. Kaboom. But the other thing, too, man, like, it's just the thing. I know we talk about it a bunch, y'all, but it's just the thing that's so impressive is with this staff is the evaluation. I bring up Kejuan Lacey. You know, Kejuan Lacey as a freshman, like Kejuan Lacey didn't go to Ole Miss. He went to Missouri. As a true freshman at Missouri, Kejuan Lacey had like 13 carries on the season as a true freshman. Ole Miss is like, we know what to do with him. Boom, 1,500 yards All-American. Like, am I giving Charlie Weiss and Lane Kiffin the benefit of the doubt? Yup. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. Maybe we all will. But you give that coaching staff this roster budget with these guys? Yeah. They should be a playoff team. All right, it's after further review. Final break. Come back. Jimmy will be here for Outer Lock. Stick around.
AFR.
We are brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Watermark Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge's premier hotel property downtown on the corner of 3rd and Convention. Gorgeous hotel. The old Louisiana National Bank building. As a matter of fact, when you go into the basement, like when you walk in the lobby, this is really cool. Sometimes they have that marble staircase roped off. But if you can go downstairs, do it because it's really cool. So you go down, like you walk in the lobby, you see the marble staircase that goes below the building. That's where the old bank vaults were. And they've hollowed out the bank vaults into these really cool meeting rooms. So you want a private dining experience. You want to have a board meeting down there. Such a cool novelty to be able to do something like that. Look, there it is right there if you want to ever go check it out. It's there at Watermark Baton Rouge. Listen, the Gregory, which is the restaurant in the lobby at Watermark Baton Rouge, amazing upscale dining experience. Bar area is awesome as well. Get on downtown and enjoy it. Go see my friends at Watermark Baton Rouge.
When a capital project moves from planning to execution, downtime isn't an option. Who do you trust to deliver? River Parish Contractors has more than 500 employees, dedicated safety, quality, and project management teams, and 9 full-time estimators backed by a 36,000 square foot automated pipe and structural steel fabrication facility. We can deliver multi-million-dollar industrial construction projects on time and safely, locally owned and headquartered in South Louisiana. We're River Parish Contractors, and we're built for bigger challenges.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FML Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
Better coverage for less money. That's what they offer over at Insurance Network of Louisiana. The process is easy and the process is free. Like free? Like really free? Free. Yes, free like free for free. Yes, like free for free. Like you don't pay any money unless you switch your insurance. And they're only going to recommend you switch if they get you better coverage or less money. But it's free to have them shop. So call Insurance Network of Louisiana. They'll take some information about your current policy, and then they go to work. They got relationships with dozens of the top-rated companies in the world, so they'll go shop to see if they can find you better coverage for less money. If they can, great, switch. You just save money. If not, stick with what you got. At least you'll know you got good coverage right now, so stick with it. 293-0450, 293-0450, 0450 or online at lainsurance.net, lainsurance.net for Insurance Network of Louisiana.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
You, Otter, what up?
All right, a little tough loss at the ninth inning last night, cost us a winning night. So 1-3, but we didn't love the card last night, but a lot jumps out at me tonight on this full 15-game night card in MLB. Let's start off Baltimore, New York. No score, bottom of the first. Baz for the Orioles and Rodon for the Yankees. 3 out of 4 for the Orioles at Tampa Bay, and last night they did all they could. Lost double 2-run leads. Alonso and Henderson have been smoking hot. Even money taking the Orioles there. We're going to go to St. Louis, talking about a team that's got a spike. You may have seen Baez on Saturday afternoon in Wrigley Field. Hit his first home run, first pitch he's ever seen in Major League Baseball for a home run. His first 3 at-bats, home runs. First time ever in the history of Major League Baseball. St. Louis was 1 strike away from sweeping the doubleheader yesterday. We're going to take St. Louis with a favorable matchup at Cincinnati minus 112. Detroit and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, it's quite a tailspin. Right? Finally giving Paul Skeens a couple of starts off. So at least try something to try and regain his velocity and spin rate. This game should be more about a pick 'em. Ashcraft was great last time for the Pirates. Complete game for them last time. That's rare in Major League Baseball. Montero, though, has been lights out for Detroit. Detroit swinging the bats better. Pittsburgh, no O'Neill Cruz still. Detroit plus 140. A big price there for the Pirates to lay. Tampa Bay minus 128 with Martinez on the mound against Toronto. That's a favorable matchup there. We're not going to ding them too hard for losing 3 out of 4 to Baltimore at home. A couple of over.
That one, by the way, Jimmy, that's in the bottom of the first. Toronto's already up 2-0. So you can get the Rays right now plus $1.76.
I would still suggest a much better price. So yeah, I would take that one. So that's odd for Martinez to give up a couple of runs in the first inning. A couple of overs to close it out. The closest thing to batting practice is the pitching matchup in Houston tonight. Christian Javier and Hussein. These guys have had a rough go of it. Over 9 with the Astros in the Angels. Bombs away in NASA Town. And then over 11.5, the Dodgers in Colorado. Some said the Dodgers bats were slumping a little bit. Coors Field, that'll do it for you. So not the best pitching, not the best pitchers for these two teams tonight with Lauer and Feltner. Not quite as bad of a pitching matchup in Houston, but both top 6 in scoring, Coors Field. And you know what? For the entire month of July and so far in August, half the time the Rockies play, it's free tacos from Taco Bell when they score 7 runs or more. So free tacos tonight, hopefully, for the Rockies. Dodgers should do their part. Let's go. I love when they show that little graphic every time. Or till free tacos.
Make sure you check the in-game prices because a lot of these games are already started. But Baltimore, St. Louis, Detroit, Tampa, and then 2 overs, the Astros Angels and the Dodgers Rockies. Where are you tomorrow?
We are at Snow's Seafood and Steak in Gonzales.
Awesome. All right, Otter, good luck. Thank you.
All right, good luck.
All right, man. As we get on down the road, got to remind you about Hancock Whitney Bank. HancockWhitney.com/Matt. My name, M-A-T-T. HancockWhitney.com/Matt, M-A-T-T. Just keep the bed going. HancockWhitney.com/Matt. And keep the bed going. Is the website. You want to get it there. Be a card-carrying member, official banking partner of the New Orleans Saints, and the official banking partner of the LSU Tigers. That's Hancock Whitney Bank. More than 180 branches, 220 ATMs across the Gulf Coast. So when you're traveling this football season, following the Tigers or the Saints, and you're here in the Gulf region, you got a Hancock Whitney Bank and ATM near you. Check them out at HancockWhitney.com/Matt to learn more. Find your nearest financial center. Bank with who I bank with. Hancock Whitney. Now you can hit the closeout bet. Thank you, Jordan. Musso's back tomorrow. You going to miss me, Jordan? A little bit?
A little bit.
Not really.
I'm here. I work here.
Who's the most overrated quarterback in the NFL, Jordan?
Baker Mayfield.
Jordan, Paulie, thanks. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, my guy. As we get on down the road, remind you about Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com, Arco.com. This is industrial Generac generator power. You know about standby generators for your home. Arco does standby generators for your business. Grocery stores, gas stations, banks, hospitals, schools, industrial facilities, government, municipalities, everything. Think of it this way. Storm comes, power goes out. What does that mean for your business? If you never want to find out, or if you found out in past storms and you never want to live that again, you need Arco Power Systems. And they're not just in Baton Rouge. Their home base is in Baton Rouge on Airline Highway near I-12. But they service a giant footprint, y'all. North to Little Rock, east to Mobile, west to San Antonio. Draw a giant circle. If you're in that footprint, Arco Power Systems come to you and everything is turnkey. Sell, service, install, rent, industrial Generac generators. Arco.com. It's Arco Power Systems. ARCCO. Arco.com.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at ReliefWindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Every ounce of Raising Cane's lemonade has been hand-squeezed that day from fresh lemons before being served over our signature crushed ice. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income.
life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.